Primetime.
Primetime, that's the name.
Primetime.
Primetime.
What time is it? Showtime, primetime.
It's XL Primetime, featuring Joe C.
Son of a gun.
Matt Hayes.
His balls are different in person.
Mia O'Brien.
I don't know what they're doing.
And Leon Searcy.
Bringing you love, peace, and soul.
Welcome in. A beautiful Tuesday right here on the First Coast. Sun comes up, and you know that you're in the Sunshine State. This ain't the unshine portion of the year. Beautiful, sparkling weather, temperature climbing into the 60s. A Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday right here on XL Primetime. If you want to cruise around this beautiful weather, head on into either one of the dealerships. Say hey to one of those great people that can take care of you when it comes to the sale and then the service and everything else that comes along with it. I'll be telling you about how they can wow you all day today. Now, I figured we might get in. We're going to have, mostly Super Bowl talk this week and next. We're going to tie it back to your Jacksonville Jaguars. Good discussion on Jaguars today about Calvin Ridley and whether or not he's worth it. And we're going to probably attack it from a lot of different angles as we get closer and closer to that decision. But one of the big things with Calvin is who also is on the market. It makes him more attractive. So we'll get into that as we go. But I wanted to start off coming out of Championship Sunday and everything, the fallout. And basically we talked about the ones that were everyone was pointing the finger. Hey, Dan, what were you doing? Hey, Zay, what were you doing? Hey, Lamar, what was up with that? Hey, Todd Monken, what was up with that? And so we had all those. So what do you think quickly as we lay this out? This team's been through it, Leon, where you sit there and you wake up 48 hours later, you're like, what do I got to do to make sure that we don't miss out, that we get back? And this football team did not get back. You follow me? Did not get back. What is Baltimore thinking right now? Let's just start with them. Because Lamar says, I'm mad at the way I played, but he isn't sitting there and complaining and saying, we screwed this up, that we're not. This was our only opportunity. What are they thinking right now?
Well, I mean, listen, I definitely should be an expert at this because I've lost 3 championships, by the way. So I know what it feels like to be that one game away from the Super Bowl and feel miserable, especially in 99. But as far as Lamar goes, the scrutiny is real, and it's fair. I mean, he didn't play well. He came up short in the big game. Now, collectively, the team came up short because, in my opinion, I think the Ravens, the way they played all season long against the good teams, the way they destroyed them, I felt that going into this game, I felt comfortable enough saying that the Ravens probably were the better team. Mm-hmm. But the better team doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. That's always a problem. They don't have Patrick Mahomes. But the scrutiny for Lamar is fair because he's got to be put in that same boat of those guys who get close but don't get it done. The Josh Allens, the Dak Prescotts, those type of guys. And he came up short. Now, I think the game plan was to his demise because I think the game plan all season long was we're going to run the ball, we're going to muck it up, we're going to play sound defense, we're going to beat you up. Mm-hmm. And they did none of that. They tried to go pass for pass, toe-to-toe with the Titan. And I called Patrick Mahomes the Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it came up short. So, I mean, like we talked about this yesterday, styles and fight. I think if they stayed to their game plan. But Lamar feels bad. He should feel bad because he let the team down. Because as a quarterback, you're going to get all the accolades if you win, and you'll get probably more than your share of beat down when you lose. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the narrative, as great as Lamar has been, he's going to be judged on championships. You're judged on what? Dubs.
Yeah.
You're judged on championships. And he's in that little box, I think, of all those other guys who get close but don't get it done.
Right, and we could go down the road. We'll go down the road with the other guys, the Josh Allens, the other ones that have come up short, and heck, Trevor, for that matter, after getting close a year ago. Here's the other thing that kind of gets you a little bit when you think about the 2 losers. One team, like we just described, and Leon's right, they did it a certain way the entire year, and then they abandoned it, right? And so everyone's second-guessing, what in the H were you doing up there? You abandoned it. Well, then go to the other side. Detroit did everything exactly like they had done the entire year. Aggressive, go for it, 4th down, who cares? This is who we are. Think about it now. One team lost by changing their style, and the other team lost by keeping their style.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Especially because yesterday myself and Matt Hayes pounded the table and said you can't risk the points on the road in the NFC Championship game despite having the best 4th and 3 percentile to make it.
Yeah, they were 80%,
in the National Football League.
80% fourth and 3 or less.
It's essentially their version of the tush push.
Yeah.
Whatever way whether they choose to do it through the air or the run game, they bring in that extra lineman. It was nearly flawless. It's tough because I think that's situational. Abandoning the run game is philosophical. Mm-hmm. I don't think, and again, Coach Campo will be in it too, and I'd love his take on this, and I'm sure he's driving around listening right now. You can't philosophically change who you are in those critical games, but situationally, you may have to play it safe. Now, I say that, and we go back to 2017 and Doug Marrone in the AFC Championship game, and playing it safe ultimately cost him and Nathaniel Hackett their jobs here down the line because that was the pinnacle of their time in Jacksonville. So I say it out of both sides of my mouth because it's easy to say situationally you should have taken the points, Dan, but also sitting back and not being aggressive has also resulted in teams losing at that stage too.
I think it's – I agree with what Mia's saying, but I think I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it as you got to be flexible. At that point of the season, when you are that close to where everybody wants to go and you realize that, not many teams get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Not many players get to the Super Bowl. Not many coaches get to the Super Bowl. It's a rare thing. You've got to be flexible, and you've got to play the odds. And the odds, you could say the odds are their odds because they were 80% or whatever. No, the odds are, in that situation on the road in the Super Bowl, if you're up 2 scores, you got a chance to go up 3 scores.
Right.
Take the damn field goal
and
go up 3 scores.
Yeah.
That's because you're forcing them to score 3 times. Yeah. That's what I don't – see, that's the whole thing. And I think that more than anything is what really is perplexing to me is you now force them not only to have to do it, but in their heads they're thinking, we're 3 scores down now. Mm-hmm. It's not a 2-score game anymore. Yeah. It's a 3-score game again.
Right.
So they're once again chasing points. They're once again stressing to chase points. It's a different mentality.
Well, it's so funny because you usually go for it when you're desperate and you are chasing points, and then yet they were ahead in at least 2 of the 3 situations. The third would have tied it. And the other thing is like I came in yesterday, and first off I led off with Dan because I wanted him to kick the field goal. And then the other part of it was that you can be aggressive by being conservative.
Sure you can.
And you know what I mean by
that?
Because you are changing what people expect.
Yes.
You can it's the classic line from Rush. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yes.
And so he could have surprised a lot of people. Like, wow, man, he's always been aggressive, but look what he did. He changed it up.
Well, it's also, here's another thing. There's a reason that people say, well, you got to do this in the NFL. Because it works.
Yeah.
Because more times than not, it works. Yeah. That's why.
And I love the fact, Leon, that they stay true to themselves. Because if we bring it back to the Baltimore equation, they did not, like you pointed out. Mm-hmm. It was an entirely different game plan, and it looked like a little different Lamar, really. But the fact that Dan Campbell and those guys, you know how hard it is to get there, like Matt just said, and you can't fool around with those.
Plus, bro, let me ask you this from a player standpoint. So you're up 2 scores. Mm-hmm. They missed that field goal. They missed the 4th down. I mean, as a player, aren't you saying, it's only 2 scores now, man? We're there. We're right there. We just stopped them. We got a little momentum. If you kick that field goal, the momentum is still with the Lions, and it's a 3-score game.
Well, I mean, as a player, sometimes, when you go for it and don't get it and you're in field goal range, you're walking off the field like, why don't we just kick the field goal? I mean, you have those kind of conversations with yourself because you know the importance of the game and you know how hard it is to get to this point. And you maximize all your opportunities you have. You make those right choices because you know how hard it is to get to those championship games.
And then when they score to make it a 1-possession game, it could have been a 2-possession game, now you start to stress.
Exactly.
And now you start to press. Oh, now it's a 1-possession game, and that's when Josh Reynolds drops a ball right in his gut. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that happen.
Because what you did is that, listen, the Niners were on the rope. They were cut. They were bleeding.
Yes.
All right? You just patched them up. By not going for that field goal, you gave them air to breathe. And what happens? Big play, lucky play. Bounces off the face mask, catch the ball. Lucky play. Ball is bouncing their way now.
Yes.
Next go around, you get the ball. You fumble. Now they go and score. Now you tie. All because you didn't kick a field goal.
Yeah, in an unfolding.
That's what I mean by flexible. You got to. Yeah. I mean, I love their philosophy of being aggressive, but you got to be flexible in a mega game like that.
Yeah, And it doesn't define you like, oh, my God, he's out of character or anything like that. No, you got to be smart. It's one thing to be aggressive. You got to be smart at the same time. All right, let's make this an early 10-10 take because I want to get back to the Baltimore side of this with the play caller because we talk about Dan's decisions up in Detroit. Let's get to Todd Monken.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
You're going to get ready for the big game, and they are getting ready for a big giveaway as well. So whenever you hear that cue to text the word Sonny's in, make sure you're ready to go because they've got a big game feed set up for you, and they are definitely going to take care of you with great barbecue. Look for Sonny's all over the First Coast. So I think to myself, why did it change so drastically, the game plan for Baltimore? They were studs running the football. Their run game ruled, and they only handed it off 6 times. And I'm thinking to myself, did Todd Monken change this game plan to make him look great, or did he think he needed to do it to change it up against the Kansas City Chiefs defense? Well, you could probably argue either one of those sides, but is it that offensive coordinator chatter that's out there with guys getting gigs like Bobby Slowick maybe finalizing a position in Washington or Ben Johnson going there and getting that job that made Todd Monken change who he was? Think about the idea of trying to get a job off of that game, and I think you might be able to say that about Todd Monken. That's the 10-10 take. Do you think he coached and changed that game plan just so he could shine in one of the biggest moments and maybe leap over somebody else for a head coaching gig?
No.
No?
No. Todd Monken doesn't have any interviews. He doesn't have any leads. This is his first year back in the NFL. I haven't heard anything about.
No, I totally get that part of it, but we're talking about turning heads. We're talking about, in a heartbeat.
So here's the difference.
Yeah.
Philosophically, and I don't know Todd Monken personally. I've only interacted with him, I think, maybe once and just in passing. Todd Monken is 57 years old. He has lived quite the football life.
Yeah.
If we were talking about a certain offensive coordinator here in Jacksonville, a certain offensive coordinator who, isn't opposed to a random website suddenly pumping his name out there as a potential candidate to coach the Chicago Bears next year, then maybe I agree with you. I don't think Todd Monken is playing that game. I think Todd Monken said, I have the MVP of the league, and I need to come up with something to reinvent the wheel because this is the Chiefs. I don't think this was a personal play in the least.
Well, again, this is just a thought. I'm just saying you could play it a number of different ways, and I can't help but think that when you do something that you go 100% against what you were, there has to be some reasons floating around in your mind to make you do it. Yeah, Kansas City is the reason floating around in your mind. Steve Spagnuolo knows what's coming. He's game planned for it. He's prepared for it. But at the same time, Matt, if you do it so well, like Leon always tells us, Pittsburgh did a handful of things very simple, and you couldn't stop it. So I can't help but let this enter my brain. Todd Monken, I don't care how old he is. He can't be thinking. They have to think of, hey, can I surprise everyone with my game plan and blow them out of the water?
So there's a couple ways to look at this. Clearly, when they were preparing for this game, they thought they could do something in the past game. They thought that they could take advantage of what Kansas City was doing. Whether that was right or wrong, clearly it didn't look right. They thought they could do that. And then you're also in a situation where, and play callers will tell you this, you get into a game and you're not even really thinking about what is the reality is. You're thinking about, all right, we prepared here. Let's try this again. Or let's try this way to do what we prepared for. Mm-hmm. I am sure that they prepared all that week. We're going to throw the ball more because we think we can expose them here or there.
Which is wild given, sidebar, how much rushing yards per game the Chiefs give up.
No, just the classic
versus how good those corners are.
Yeah, I totally get it, but I'm telling you right now.
Their back end is so much better than what they do against the run.
No, I agree with you, but the whole thing is first off, Todd Monken has zero ego. Zero. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, he's not that self-absorbed to think, all right, we're one step from the Super Bowl. I'm just going to change it up so I look good. No chance in hell.
Okay, well, I'll just give you I'll just give you the scenario when you sit there and you think about it. And we love clobbering coordinators around here. What would we be saying if this happened in our town with a entirely different game plan than what got you there? We are coordinator killers. Okay. And you don't think they wouldn't be killing what Todd Monken did up there?
I don't disagree with you. All I'm saying, from every interaction I've had with him, he is an egoless guy.
Well, I like him.
Listen, then why did he do it? Well, I mean, he's not
that's
egotistical.
What I'm saying. No, I'm telling you.
He has nothing to prove.
No, I'm telling you because they game planned and they thought we can expose them here. Let's do this, and everybody agreed.
What?
And then you get in the game and you're thinking, all right, well, we know we can do this. We prepared for this.
Well, but you also have to know your personnel. You don't have one receiver that can stress a defense, which is Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, OBJ has lost he's lost a step 2 or 3.
Yeah.
All right. Now you got Likely and you got Andrews coming back.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he missed a couple throws in that game. There were a couple deep throws he missed.
He absolutely did.
Okay, there's the other part of this. You're asking Lamar to be something he wasn't in the regular season. He was an MVP doing what he did.
No, I know, but all I'm telling you is all I'm saying is this.
They are ripping.
They're that
Mm-hmm.
close to the pinnacle of their sport. They're not going to just randomly change because they want to I'm going to make myself look. No, they thought they could expose the Chiefs secondary.
But think about this, Matt. Okay, you don't believe they just randomly changed. That the week before the game in practice, Harbaugh had to see the game plan that was moving forward. Why, as the head coach of the team, why did you comply to what they were doing?
They won 13 games.
I know, but they did.
And
They
the
won
offense-
13 games. They won 13 games.
No, I understand what you're saying.
A certain way.
I understand what you're saying, but they won 13 games, and the offense under Munkin was.
It was extraordinary.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was completely different from what it was. It was extraordinary during the year, and I'm sure as the head coach, if Munkin goes in and says, "John, I think we can expose them here," Harbaugh's going to say, "All right, let's do it."
All right, let me give you another theory. And these are not conspiracy theories. These are just things these are sipper thoughts, okay? Take a sip, have a thought. Let's go one level up from Todd Munkin. John Harbaugh was on the sidelines when his brother Jim won a national championship for Michigan. Full embrace, Harbaugh tears, Dad's there, they're all happy. Jim leaves the national championship and leaves the game of college football and comes back into the National Football League. What does John Harbaugh do? Gets his team top seed to the AFC Championship game, about to crack the lid on going back to the Super Bowl. First time since beating brother John, right? So John Harbaugh steps out of character a little bit. Was that an undisciplined team Sunday? Highly undisciplined team.
Well,
Sunday.
We also are ignoring the fact that they were second in the league in penalties all year.
Yeah.
This wasn't that strange to see them drawing flags the way that they were.
That is true, but I'm talking about just over the top, like those exchanges right before the half, which led Kansas City down the field. Then Kansas City had the bad play, and then they still were able to kick the field goal and at least have some life going into the locker room. I just feel like that team unraveled mentally against the Kansas City Chiefs. John Harbaugh.
Wait, say that last part again.
Yeah, that team unraveled mentally.
No.
Yeah.
The next 4 words.
Yeah.
Against the Kansas City
I get
Chiefs.
I get it.
That's what happened.
Okay, the Baltimore Ravens.
The Kansas City Chiefs break people's brains.
Right. What did Baltimore do to San Francisco? What did Baltimore do to Miami? What did Baltimore do to Detroit? They have more wins over more playoff teams than anybody else in the National Football League this year, and they unraveled.
You know what all those other teams didn't have? Mahomes.
I get it. I totally get it. But Mahomes also lost to the Jets and the
different things,
Broncos.
right?
Yeah, but
Okay, I mean, come on.
KC wasn't the juggernaut that they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, their defense has kept them more in games while they got their wide receivers together.
And that defense
defense
has come up around Mahomes and around that
Yeah,
championship
Don't
DNA.
be ridiculous.
I'm just-
The defense
That
is good.
defense
You know it's
did.
all about Mahomes. You know that every team goes in there thinking, all right, we can't make mistakes. We can't make mistakes. We make mistakes, we're going to lose.
Yeah, and look.
So they don't fear Chris Jones?
Of course they do. Yeah.
I mean, he has the Mahomes effect on the defense side of the ball, too. Because wherever he's lined up, you better put 2 or 3 on him, or he's going to wreck shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's not Mahomes.
Those are things to think about. You guys hit the text line, 641-1010. We'll sneak it back the Jaguars' way as we go along today. Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy Tuesday. Let's hit that real quick with what's happening.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Man, oh man, Leon, I say this with all love and respect for your friends up in Pittsburgh. You know how the Pittsburgh OC job has kind of become a running bit, a joke over the last few years with Matt Canada and how many games consecutively not going over 300, 400 yards of total offense?
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers are expected to hire former Falcons head coach Arthur Smith as their OC. My question is George Pickens ever going to see the ball now?
I don't know. I kind of like that.
Okay. I don't know.
That's going to
From
be
one
back to run
situation
first.
without a quarterback to
got those
another
tiny-
without a
Got
quarterback.
those tiny hands. I don't know. Is he going to play anymore?
It's going to be back to running the football first. You would
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
the style.
What was the as
Although
far
they
as
threw
Atlanta?
Tannehill a couple years ago when they got the 1 seed, they were throwing all over the place, man.
I have to go back and look. It still was a Derrick Henry generated offense.
It
Tannehill
certainly is, but Tannehill had
his best
season.
year. Yeah, he got another big hefty contract off of that bad boy. But yeah, I do think when I hear Arthur Smith's name, I think run. I think run first.
I mean, that's right up Pittsburgh's alley then.
Yeah.
Run first.
True.
But I also think not the top name you're thinking at the running back position, i.e., Bijan Robinson gets left in the dust after Game 5 of the season, and Tyler Algier all the way, baby. Kyle Pitts has been put on ice over the last 3 years, and because of
It is
Arthur
strange.
Smith.
Yeah, it is strange.
Meanwhile,
up there.
Parker Hesse, who played defensive end at Iowa, got almost more receptions than Kyle Pitts in games. I know it happened in at least 2 games. He's
Yeah.
a fullback now. And Arthur Smith had him getting more catches than Kyle Pitts.
That definitely is a mystery as far as what he did with the
2020,
with
he
the
had
tight end.
33 touchdown passes.
33. Yeah, he had himself a year, and then they went and promptly lost that number 1 seed. Was that the year they lost to the Bengals as the number 1 seed?
No, that was 2020. 2021 they lost.
Okay. All right. But so, yeah, he definitely had. Look, he was a renaissance man in some respects. Leaving Miami, he had the $100 million contract down
Right.
there, and
And
then went
another.
up and got another one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's not like Arthur Smith can't call plays. I didn't see it up in Atlanta. I didn't think it would last. That's why I was betting against them this year more than I was betting for them. But it is proof in the pudding that he had some serious studs on the offensive side and just couldn't potion them up
Yeah,
for some
I like
reason.
that hire, man. I don't know about your quarterback,
Yeah,
Steelers, but I like the hire.
Well, I mean, Tomlin said there's a competition with Rudolph and Pickett as far as
First off,
Rudolph is
I don't think either one of them are any good.
Rudolph is
I
a
don't
free
either.
agent this
Oh, he's a
year.
free agent.
Yeah, so they'd have to bring him back.
Got to bring him back.
First
Wow.
off, do not look at Leon and go, "You're Steelers." Don't ever do that again.
Well, they kind of
He
are.
is a
Steelers.
Jaguar through
He's
and
a
through.
Jag, but they were, he's still got a little Steeler in his soul, right? You may have Jags in your blood, but you got Steeler in your soul, right? A little bit, anyway.
I won't comply to that.
Yeah, he ain't answering that question right now. It might be different if he's up there in the Steel City, but right here in Teal Town, he ain't answering that. All right, so bring it back to what we said as far as this is 48 hours removed. We mentioned what they're both going through. One of them knows they've been there. Obviously, look at the hardware. The Baltimore Ravens have a pedigree, a standard, everything that they've been able to do. So to think that they're going to just kind of disappear into the night is probably foolish. At the same time, Detroit, and Dan Campbell said it, how hard it is to get there, and they've never been. And so will they return? And you wonder what they're thinking up there, because they did stay true to their character, their style, their toughness, all that stuff. The aggressive go-for-itness. So you just have to wonder if they're going to be able to
You know what? I don't think fans can really appreciate the fact of how devastating a loss in the championship game is. How hard it is to get over it during the off season, because you're replaying in your mind every play that you thought you could have played better, or every play that where you may have missed the block, or you missed the tackle, or missed the interception, all that kind of stuff. And then the hardest thing to do is to watch the Super Bowl and look at the team that beat you play in the Super Bowl, and you say to yourself, how did we lose to them? Yeah. How did we freaking lose to them? I mean, because a lot of people don't. In '99, I know we had the anniversary of 25 years, whatever. In '99, I mean, we were up 14-0 on the Titans, just like Detroit, and then it just all came unraveling.
Not only that, I actually think the Lions match up better.
That's agonizing.
The Lions match up better with the Chiefs than the 49ers do, too. Like, the Lions were that close.
Yeah. Well,
to like a rare season,
think about it,
man.
Matt. Both of the teams that the Chiefs would have faced can run the football. Actually, 3 of them, because Baltimore could run the football, San Francisco definitely can, and we know that Detroit proved they could. And so the one missing ingredient is that one that could run it chose not to in the Baltimore Ravens. 6 handoffs to running back, which is just honestly, I'm sorry, you guys feel a certain way about Todd Monken.
Yeah.
That was an egg layer of all egg layers. I mean,
And trust me, players are huddling up amongst themselves in groups, talking about why we didn't do this, why we didn't do that, why we didn't run more.
I don't doubt it.
I mean, yeah, you have the whys. There are the whys of your game plan. Once you lose the game, when it's over.
That was a case of the crabs up there, man. You need a shot for that. After that was not good.
Plus, the Lions, I know it was week 1, but they beat the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
on the road. They know how to beat them. You go into that game with confidence, man.
And that was after here, right? Yeah, that was
week one.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Detroit.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other team that had beaten the Niners. Yeah, you're right. All right, so we got plenty to get into. Let's bring it back to the Jags. Calvin Ridley discussion. Compare him to who else is out there. Does it make him more attractive? Because I got a feeling, even though you may not be crazy about paying him, you look at the list of others that are available, it ain't attractive, that's for sure. So we'll get into that. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday on XL Primetime. You're invited to join in. You can head to YouTube, search 1010XL, offer up a comment there, or hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I don't like your style,
The Drill,
your politics, or your sense of humor.
Mornings
I don't like what you say or how you say it.
on 1010XL.
Blah, 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 blah.
Tired of dealing with clogged drains? What about bad smells coming from your pipes? No matter how big or small your commercial or residential project may be, my friends at Duck Duck Rooter can handle it. Contact them today for all your plumbing, septic, and air conditioning needs at 904-862-6769. And while I have your attention, Duck Duck Rooter is hiring plumbers. They offer excellent weekly pay, health insurance, paid holidays, 401k, and more. Apply now at duckduckrooter.com and they will call you for an interview.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You know I'm a results guy, and that's why Awaken 180 is my kind of program. Results? I dropped 9.6 pounds my first week. A month later, all 25 pounds were gone. Do you have 50 to lose? Do the math. Then call Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. You heard me. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or, if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50, $75, $100, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next two mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or loanpronto.com, 999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39 APR, subject to lender approval.
The All-Pro Roofing phone line protects you from boring radio.
Hello? What are you doing here?
I don't know. Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
The calls have been pouring in.
On 1010XL.
When it comes to a new roof, you want the golden standard. Look no further than Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters. With our unbeatable 5-year warranty, you can enjoy peace of mind knowing your roof is protected for years to come. And guess what? Our team can complete most roofs in just one day. That's right, you won't have to worry about long and disruptive construction projects.
Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters.
Golden Hammer!
The golden standard in roofing.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
Is like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
The big game is in the near future, and Sonny's Barbecue is here to help. For your chance to win a barbecue feast for the big game, text Sonny's to 641-1010. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmaster since '68.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Pete Thamel of ESPN reporting that, or confirming, I should say, Sports Illustrated's report that Tennessee, the University of, is under NCAA investigation tied to name, image, and likeness violations. The investigation puts Tennessee in the crosshairs as a repeat violator from recent NCAA ruling in July of 2023 from the violations stemming from former head football coach Jeremy Pruitt's tenure. Tennessee's argument in the case will be tied to, I can't even pronounce that word, vagaries, and vagaries. Vague is a plural. Who knew?
Vagrant.
In NIL rules.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
I told you guys Tennessee was next.
Remember, listen, Matt, I was looking at you.
I told you, man.
I can't remember which one of us said it on the thread when I think JJ said the gift that keeps on giving with Florida. And
I had two industry sources telling me Tennessee's next.
Yeah, I have to go back and look because I was like, we were zeroing in on Rocky Top.
Well, I mean, what's the violation?
That's what I'm looking at.
Miami is still clean, by the way.
It's basically what they're doing with all these. And believe me, Tennessee's
more
not
McDonald's
alone.
bags up.
Tennessee's not alone. Florida State's not alone. Florida's not alone. They're all, believe me. Think about the big schools and how you're like, oh wow, how'd they get that guy? Guess what? Their letters there too. It just hasn't been uncovered yet.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
they've gotten letters too. They've sent out. So what I was told is they've sent out more than 30. So they got more than 30 investigations going on right now.
Yeah,
By the way, this is from Pat Forey.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you.
Joe. He says, less than a year after its last infractions case concluded, Tennessee is under NCAA investigation again. Excuse me. The inquiry covers multiple sports and is described as, quote, major.
Oh, boy.
I thought Sports Illustrated was dead. It is not. Thank you, Pat Ford, for doing the good work.
40.
Yeah.
40,
What's so funny is that this now you're telling me the NCAA is coming out with this, and you're telling me this dates back to around Pruitt time. They are the slowest dinosaurs when it comes to legislation.
No, this is more about NIL.
Yeah, I would think so.
More about NIL.
I would think so.
Trust
but
me,
just but when it says it crosses over and it dates back, and you said there are letters everywhere, catch up, NCAA. Okay, if you're going to police this whole
they only have
deal,
they only have so many enforcement guys, man. That's number one.
Borrow
Number
some
two,
from
they
the
don't have
IRS.
subpoena power.
Yeah.
Number three, you've got guys like Harbaugh who, quote unquote, mislead. In other words, that's another word for lie to them. What are they supposed to do?
That's your argument. But
I do agree that it is super vague. Like the NCAA's ruling on, NLI
Any
stuff
of it.
is
It's like I told you guys before. The problem with the NIL is how does Ruiz decide who he's going to give his money to?
Right.
The
Someone has
university
to be
tells him.
telling these, what's the Gator collectives,
Yeah.
that this is the guy we
Of
want. They're not
course.
just
They're not
throwing
just-
money at
Yes,
random
they're not just
recruits.
randomly giving people money.
That's the victorious collective, JJ. We'll soon be victorious. I don't know when. But
because wasn't Florida State? I mean, they're on an investigation of violation because a coach drove a kid to a booster.
Yeah, that was Atkins.
That gets
their
referenced
OC,
in the
who
Pat
actually-
Forty article.
Yeah, it's
Really?
over.
I mean,
He actually
how-
took them and set up the thing. So that was kind of.
I mean,
Give me a
okay,
break.
Stop it. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, stop
I don't
cheating. That was
disagree.
abhorrent.
I don't disagree, but it's also what do they expect? Like how else are you gonna give these kids NIL deals if you don't know who your team and your coach is going after?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
exactly.
know. I don't know what else they expect them to do.
I think the NCAA is just trying to exude some power, and they know they're going to be extinct.
They are. They're getting ready to be extinct. They're
about
trying
5
one
years.
last grasp. Of
I
power.
see.
That's what it is, man.
Mm.
So the Volunteers have one of the most prominent NIL collective programs, according to the Sports Illustrated report, including the Volunteer Club, which is operated by Knoxville-based Spire Sports Group.
Yeah, they all do it for free.
The Volunteer Club, even though they don't do it for free, there is money involved, said it had more than 4,000 members as of early December. The Knoxville News-Sentinel reported in September that Spire Sports had struck deals with Tennessee athletes in 11 sports. Unclear whether any of those agreements are the specific target, but obviously they get mentioned. And then there, of course, is the NIL deal that Nico Iamaleava, did I pronounce that right?
Yamaliava.
I forgot. I forgot it during the Citrus Bowl. We changed it. Iamaleava, a five-star quarterback, class of 2023, that reported $8 million deal. It did not name that it was specifically him, what school he would go to. So there's a lot of speculation as to which NIL case in particular, but at least the early reports are this is across multiple sports and multiple cases.
And as you say it, everyone out there just think about it. And we use that term Wild Wild West. It is the nutbag operation right now where anything goes. Anything goes. And you can do it whenever you want.
Plus, let me just say this.
And you don't have to have permission.
No, and the boosters out there that are part of these NILs, that are giving money to these NILs, let me just think of Hacker. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They're crazy in love with their programs. Yes.
Yeah.
They're crazy
With
in
an
love with their
expense
programs
account.
and crazy will do anything. You know what I mean? And make excuses for everything.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's what it is. And I say that I love Hack, but that's what it is. All the majority of these guys giving money to NILs are like that.
Well, you know what? All this will go away. Just revenue share. Just share the revenue.
They will. They're getting there. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but you guys laughed when I said it. This NIL was going to bring a booster demanding a seat at the table. And that's what it's become. They want to have a say.
But then the players,
it's embarrassing.
But then the players will want the seat at the table.
Yes.
And the unionization
before long,
is inevitable.
And that's also a be careful what you wish for thing, because
Right.
then it's governed and it's spread, not spread equally, but spread differently than how it is right now.
Well, speaking of dollars and cents, let's keep it in the college football world, because we do want to also get to the news out of Florida State this morning. Ira Shafel reporting that nearly 2 weeks after the ACC raised the stakes in its legal battle with Florida State by filing an amended complaint in North Carolina Superior Courts, the Noles fired back with a 59-page amended complaint that is 21 pages longer than the original complaint that they filed in December against the ACC, taking specific aim at former ACC Commissioner John Swofford for a number of allegedly self-serving actions that cost member schools millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, so here's the thing. First and foremost, and any attorney will tell you this, you can say whatever you want in a complaint. Whatever you want. Doesn't have to be true.
You can add more to it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be true.
And another thing.
You just say it, okay? So, but number two, and this is, we went over this last time when the ACC's amended complaint, is the ACC was asking the court in North Carolina. This This is all going down in 2 states now. You got to remember that. And the big question is, which state gets control of it? If the state of Florida gets control of it, Florida State is going to get out. If the state of North Carolina gets control of it, they got a much more difficult
And that's
time
how they
getting out.
rule.
Yeah. So wherever they rule, where the eventual trial is going to be heard, that's the issue. Now, the ACC's response, this was last month, one of their 6 highlights that they said was Florida State cannot discuss the terms of the ESPN deal publicly.
I love it.
So in other words, they don't want Florida State showing how the sausage is made.
An NDA.
Yes, because they know there's going to be a problem once discovery happens and once they get in depositions, and then everything's crazy at that point. So they're hoping to keep it in North Carolina where it doesn't get to that point, where they can quash it.
Right.
But if it stays in Florida, Florida State's going to get out of that deal.
Yeah,
they will get out of it.
And look, this is the argument that we've had forever. There is a way. As long as there are lawyers on this earth, there is a way.
But again, I don't know where they're going, but they'll get out of it.
Yeah.
So one of our nooners just sent us this, and I meant to bring this up yesterday because I saw the report as well, that the UNC Board of Trustees and Board of Governors will now be voting next month to approve a policy change recommendation that requires system chancellors to provide advance notice prior to executing any agreement to change athletic conference affiliation and obtain approval for financial plans related to the proposed action. Essentially, UNC may also be looking to get out of the ACC.
Everybody's waiting to see what happens with Florida State.
Miami might finally win it.
If Florida State,
if there's only like
Florida
3
State
teams,
gets out, right? Then the dam breaks. Then.
Well, it's like I've been maintaining. Once others in the ACC see there's legs to this, and that's why FSU knew they needed to play their hand, because Clemson's over there in the corner going, "Do it.
Right.
If you do it, we'll come along."
We don't hear anything from
just
them.
Do it. We're not.
Right,
we're
but
behind
again,
you. Don't tell anybody.
But
we're behind
Clemson's
you.
in the same boat. Where are they going?
Yeah. Well, as much as we have
North
witnessed,
Carolina definitely is somebody that the ACC,
the
Big Ten
the
would
SEC,
desperately
and the
want.
Big Ten.
Yeah. And as much as we have witnessed
and
over
Virginia
the last,
for that
hey,
matter.
dude, as much as we have witnessed over the last 2.5 years, if we think there's not a spot for somebody, we're crazy.
True.
Because
That's
it will
true.
be, when it's all said and done, it is a super D1. That is what it will be. And there will be a place for 60 or less schools, the powerhouses, Leon, to all compete for the big football prize. And it will probably end up being, and I'll just go out there, we might as well just say, hey, this is possible.
But until that happens, until 8-10 years down the road and that happens, where are they going to go?
I know. Hey, look, if there's enough of them, what was it called? The Magnificent Seven from Brett McMurphy?
Right.
They'll just figure out a way to schedule each other, and as long as the best team will have a shot at the playoff will probably recognize them because they still want the best teams there. It's possible.
It's the problem they have is if they break up the ACC, which is an ESPN property, okay, that's going to be a problem with getting in the SEC because the ESPN's not going to pay the SEC more than pro rata to add those guys after they just broke up the ACC.
Yeah, well, the Big 12, there's somebody.
Well, the Big 12 also was with the ESPN.
Exactly. But
so
remember,
ESPN's going to tell the Big 12, I'm not paying you extra for those guys.
Yeah, but remember, ESPN didn't mind busting up the Big 12 when they let Oklahoma and Texas come to the SEC.
Right. But that was also the Pac-12 was also a Fox property or getting ready to be a Fox
I'm talking
property.
about the Big 12. Remember how fired up they were when the ESPN folks basically said, well, yeah, we're part of you, but we're really part of them, referring to the SEC.
Right. Well, that was a little bit different. That was like it's different because they only have half controlling interest of the Big 12. Fox has the other half. So they've got now complete controlling interest of the SEC. So of course, if two of the biggest properties in all of college football say they want to go in the SEC, they'll pay more for that.
They're going to listen, yes. December 22nd, this is Jim Phillips, ACC commissioner, end of his statement, not the full statement. Quote, "We are confident that the grant of rights, which has been honored by all other universities who signed similar agreements, will be affirmed by the courts and the conference's legal counsel will vigorously enforce the agreement in the best interest of the ACC's current and incoming members." They got a fight on their hands, man. They know it. And if there's a Harvey Specter out there somewhere, whatever sides he's landing on, I'm betting on them.
I'm still waiting to hear where Florida State's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's to Matt's point. This is all fun to observe and watch the courts and the legal system play out and laugh at the thought of, Florida State. Hey, I mean, you can't blame them, self-determination. I wouldn't want to be left under a contract that doesn't allow for me to make the most money until 2036, even though you agreed to it. So you signed off. So you made this bed. Now you're going to lie in it. But then what happens if they do get out? Like, I still go back to that That's where I look at North Carolina yesterday, and I'm like, okay, we know there's some traction to where they could go.
Yeah, once there's a fracturing, and if North Carolina is that appealing to, let's just say, the Big Ten, which was the one that has always been linked, is that they have a come-along with them. And it's not just bring one other, and that could be FSU.
That's true.
As a possibility. It could be Clemson as a possibility. But that's really what it boils down to. And the Big 12 still would like to strike. When it's all said and done, there are going to be 4 16-team divisions, something like that. And there's going to be 64 teams. It's going to be a football-only conference. Super
yeah, I mean, it's –
or a league.
We're 8-10 years from that probably. Maybe a little sooner. But I guess the point I'm making is the SEC and the Big Ten are not going to add Clemson and Florida State just to add them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get value from that. And if their television partners aren't paying them value for it, they're not going to add them.
Which always kind of blows my mind that if you got a great television deal and you have a lot of really good pieces, meaning the teams that you already have, why would you want to add more to split more?
Well, not only that, and you keep hearing Florida State and say, well, it allows the Big Ten to get in the state of Florida. They don't care.
Yeah,
that's just gravy for them. It's about they don't want to share more money with another mouth.
Right.
That's what it's about.
Right.
They're already upset. Yeah, they're already upset about Washington and Oregon joining.
Yeah.
They're not going to automatically just add 2 more teams. Washington and Oregon are only getting like almost half or less than half of what every other school in the league's getting.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to just say, oh, yeah, we'll take Florida State. We'll give them a full share. Come on. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's called territory.
I mean, could Florida State do what Notre Dame does as far as –
I don't know, man. They're not going to get their own television contract like Notre
They won't
Dame.
get that type
But
of –
they can be an independent. Anybody can be an independent.
Yeah.
UConn and UMass have been independent in the last 10 years.
What kind of games are you going to get?
Florida State. I mean, Florida State's a pretty big deal, bro.
But the problem
last
is,
year.
No, I'm saying who's going to want to play
who's going to want to play that?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I got
especially
you. Okay,
Leon,
you're right.
because you consider, especially with the expansion of the Big 12 and the
Mm-hmm.
Big 10, if they all go to 9 conference games, that leaves them 3 non-conference games.
Mm-hmm.
How is Florida State going to find itself
Mm-hmm.
into the rotation and into the schedule of 3 potential openings for 12 opponents? Especially when those opponents know they're playing in a conference where those 3 non-conference, for many of them, those 3 non-conference games, they need to schedule cupcakes if they're to have any chance at a bowl game.
So, real quick on the text line, Fox adds them, not the conference. These people have no idea what you're talking about. Trust me. The presidents add them, not Fox, not the televisions. The presidents don't want to share money. They're happy with their deals. They don't want to share money, which is why Washington and Oregon got half of what every other Big Ten team is getting for the next 7 years.
Right. I think you could just fill in the blank. It could be anybody. They do not want to share money.
Yes, it doesn't matter who it is.
And the only people I can think of that want
unless you get more for it, which
Right.
is why the SEC added Texas and Oklahoma because
they can get
ESPN
more.
gave them more.
The only people I can think of that want to share money is wanting to share your money with somebody else, not theirs.
Right,
those are the people that like to share money.
And even if it was close to an equal share, it doesn't help them. It has to financially be a plus for them because they're changing everything when you add more schools into your conference. It's scheduling, it's travel, it's everything.
And it's minutia, it's boring at times, but let's go back to what we said yesterday with LSU. You got to pay for all those other sports.
Yep.
That's where that revenue comes in and goes out quickly. You got to pay for all the other ones.
And when you have NIL deals across potentially 11 sports like the University of Tennessee that you also have to be footing the bill for, you probably need some money from your revenue, from your media partners.
Heavy-duty coin.
Real quick from Brett and Mandarin, and Matt, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this. If ESPN gets control over too many parts of the major conferences, Congress may try to slap them with an antitrust hearing. It is possible.
It's not happening.
It's been out there for a long time. It's always been mentioned as a possible threat. And
what? Antitrust?
Yeah. And then it goes away.
How is it antitrust?
Yeah. Well, meaning that the legal people of this fine country will jump in from time to time.
No, I know that.
Throw
but
out
Joe, I'm
big
saying
word threats.
right now in college football,
Yeah.
Fox has games.
NBC
has games.
Yeah.
CBS has games.
No, the
ESPN
main thing they would
has
be going
games.
after is tax-exempt status.
They don't have tax exempt. Why would ESPN have tax exempt
No,
status?
I'm talking about the universities. Universities.
Because they made a deal with a TV entity?
Their whole athletic operation rides off of tax-free exempt status, okay? They bring all that money in.
No, that's why they're separate from the university. They're not tax-free.
Well, the athletic association separates.
Yeah.
Yeah, they separate. Does the university's athletic
these
department
guys have
separate?
no idea what they're talking about, okay?
Well, again, like I said, these are people. You say those people referring to our people who run the country?
No, I'm talking about these guys that are texting.
No, that's what I'm saying. You say they don't know what they're talking about? Neither do the people running our country.
Right.
Let's hit on that.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, baby. This is a big one. This is a heck of a way to transition back to the NFL. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson has informed the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Commanders that he is staying in Detroit. He is still only 37, will be a hot head coaching candidate again next year, but he has told them that he needs another shot at bringing a Lombardi trophy to Motown.
That is the magic of Motown right there.
That's encouraging. Absolutely encouraging.
And rare, would you
And
say?
rare, especially. I mean, because the spotlight was on him for sure. Not so much in that game, but I'm just saying for what he did with the Detroit.
But expand on what you mean refreshing.
Well, I mean because he's not self-absorbed in the fact that he's getting all this attention as a head coach. He just came off a game where he felt like he should have won. He came up short. And I'm sure he had that conversation with Coach, and said, "Hey, listen, let's run this thing back."
It's actually good. It really,
it's refreshing because usually hot coordinators they dip when they lose, they dip, they're gone.
Yeah,
because they want control.
Right, strike the iron while it's hot.
Absolutely, yes.
But Leon, what did we say yesterday? Dan Campbell stood at the podium Sunday night in San Francisco and said, "We may not be back here."
Well, he done spoken into the universe. He might be true. So I'm not sure.
So that's where
I'm not sure he should have said that.
This is the ultimate hedging of your bet if you're Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say if heaven forbid, Jared Goff gets hurt next year, if Jahmyr Gibbs gets hurt?
Yeah.
He also probably saw the quarterback situation at those two teams and was like, I'm good.
Also not wrong.
Like, why would I? I mean, because as a 37-year-old, you go take that job, you lose, you're out in 3 years, no one's going to hire you again.
And the controls.
Or they told him no thanks, and now he's just publicly saying I'm pulling out.
True.
It's always possible, but agents, they all know if he's not pulling his name out of the race if he's already been told go away. He would just kind of disappear into the ether, I think. It's
Maybe.
Not saying you're wrong. Not saying you're wrong.
We saw some college coaches that could have done that during the Alabama process.
I'm pretty sure Herb just removed himself from consideration again.
Right, so real quick, people are asking, so where's FSU going? My guess is, it's the Big 12.
Right.
Florida State?
Because they'll make more money in the Big 12 than they would in the ACC.
The Big 12 is angry.
Big
They're
12 will
playing
take them in a heartbeat.
They've helped when they were facing execution. They helped off the Pac-12. That's what they did. And so now, not facing execution, they've staved it off. And now they're looking to say, hey, can we get stronger
If the Big 12 could add like Florida State, Miami, Clemson, and North Carolina.
Who's in the Big 12 now?
Man,
TCU.
You name them.
A hell of an ad.
It doesn't matter.
Baylor, Oklahoma State.
The Fighting UCF Knights, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not watching Florida State.
You're not watching
I'm not watching Florida State, Oklahoma State.
Yes, you will.
No,
you watch Florida State
Miami,
play
Oklahoma
North Carolina State. What's the difference?
No, I didn't.
So let me understand. So you'd rather watch Miami play Syracuse than Miami play Oklahoma State?
Well, we have to watch Miami.
I have to watch Miami. That's in my contract.
Yeah, so you'd rather watch Florida State play Syracuse than Florida State play Oklahoma State?
I'm just saying, where's the attraction? I mean, listen, where's the attraction? Oklahoma, Alabama. I'm watching that. Texas, LSU.
Well, you can't compare it to the SEC.
That's what I'm saying. I know we're not, but I'm just saying. Where's the attraction if they go to the Big 12?
I don't know. I watch Florida State to hate on them every week.
Okay, me too. I do. That's in my contract too.
Certainly better than the ACC, is it not?
Arguable. I think the ACC is better than the Big 12.
Yes, come on.
The ACC looks
without
negligible.
Texas and
At this
Oklahoma.
point, it's negligible.
No, you're wrong. Without Texas and Oklahoma, I mean, Clemson's won multiple natties in the last 10 years.
The Big 12 got dinged big time.
Yes.
When you have to lean in
they're
and say,
now.
when you have to lean in and say, hey, UCF, come on over, which as much as I love UCF, that was an act of desperation. But then also getting those schools from the Pac-12 helped kind of buoy them a little bit. ACC, I don't care as much as I love making fun of it, they've got good and then they got a lot of bad. They do in a football world.
Here's another thing with Florida State in the Big Ten. Okay, Fox is going to have to agree to pay at least another $80 million annually for Florida State, but they're not just going to add one team to go to 19. You can't do that. You can't have a schedule like that.
The math needs to
Right.
work.
So you'll go to 20. So then Fox is going to have to commit to almost $200 million more annually to have them. That you people have to start looking at this as financially. It's about finances.
And
it's about sharing the money. They don't want to share the money. They've already added Washington, Oregon as half members.
Okay, but you're also thinking at such a small, short way of thinking. They're thinking long term, man.
Dude,
if they can bring in a place like Florida State.
The new Big Ten television deal is 7 years. That's it. It's not long term.
I'm talking about the conference, not the TV channels.
No, but the deals are. That's what I'm saying. The deals are all about the affiliation.
Okay, well they can rework deals. We see it every single year, man.
No, right? No, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. Is unless there's value there. The Big Ten presidents are not going to add.
The value is long term.
It's not
having
anymore,
Florida
man.
State.
It's not anymore. It's just not.
And the other part of all of this is that they're the last one trying to get into the party.
Yes.
And
yes, of course. It's timing.
Oklahoma and Texas struck first. USC, UCLA struck next. Then the Pac-12 caved. They're fourth in line with all of this.
It's the same thing. You know why the Big Ten's deal is better than the SEC's deal? Because the SEC did their deal in 2020. The Big Ten did their deal in 2022.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep it rolling with that. You guys can chime in 641-1010. Let us know what you think about that. We need to get to the Calvin Ridley conversation. And really, if you start taking a look at the top free agents, where does he rank and how many other viable options at the wide receiver game to make this football team better are actually out there?
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Catch Gators basketball on 1010XL.
It's a rumble at Rupp Arena, Florida, Kentucky. Tomorrow night at 8 on 1010 AM.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Thanks to the coaches and the schools who believe in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is head coach Ferland Dormery of Trinity Christian Academy High School. Our athletic program selected Southeast Orthopedidic Specialists to work with our state championship football team and will continue to use them. We recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Listen up, all you Ospreys. UNF homecoming is just around the corner. You won't want to miss all the festivities, especially the Birds of Trade, as the UNF men's basketball team plays host to Central Arkansas Saturday, February 10th at UNF Arena, tipping off at 2 o'clock. Show off your Osprey pride and reconnect with your alma mater. That's Saturday, February 10th at 2 p.m. Visit UNFOspreys.com for tickets and more information. UNFOspreys.com. Swoop, swoop, swoop.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Shen Yun shows are coming January 30th to 31st to Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Shen Yun revives 5,000 years of civilization through choreographed dance with music combining classical Western and Chinese instruments and dynamic 3D backdrop. Come see it at least once in your lifetime. January 30th through 31st. Tickets at shenyun.com/FL.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we truly love the game of golf. We invite you to book your next tee time here and enjoy a golfing experience that you might not find at other public facilities. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, your fantasy football season might be over, but you can still win money playing fantasy sports on Underdog Fantasy with their Pick'em game. Just pick higher or lower on players' projected stats. They have a boatload of Pick'em contests to spice up the games. So act now, and you can win up to 100 times your money if all your picks hit. Underdog is so easy to play, even easier to get started, though. Just download their app, the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store, or visit UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up using promo code 1010XL. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. They even give you a special pick of higher than 1/2 total yards to use on your first pick'em entry to get you started in the right direction. Look, you know I love daily fantasy sports. It's why I play at Underdog Fantasy, and there's no better time to make money on the biggest football game of them all than right now. Sign up using promo code 1010XL. You do have to be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
I'm Sheriff TK Waters with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We're currently hiring for police, corrections, 911 dispatchers, and various civilian jobs. And for a limited time, JSO is offering a hiring incentive of up to $10,000 for police and corrections applicants. Details are available at joinjso.com. I invite you to apply today and start your journey as a law enforcement professional, helping us drive down crime and foster positive relationships with citizens. Are you ready to be a part of the solution? The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity, equal access employer.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools, because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277, or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. 2 Florida Gators were named preseason All-Americans by D1 Baseball. Jack Caglione and pitcher Brandon Neely. Caglione, who is first-team All-American, set the BB Core era record for home runs with 33 in the 2023 season. Caglione is expected to start every night, splitting time between first base and the mound. Neely, who landed on second team, had 13 saves last season, making him the most among all preseason All-Americans. UF will be well represented in the Super Bowl once again, with 5 former Gators that are headed to Las Vegas, all with the Chiefs. Punter Tommy Townsend, offensive tackle Jawan Taylor, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, running back LaMichael Pirine, and defensive back Trey Dean. It's 65 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose on 1010XL.
That's what you're talking about, sausage with a purpose. And speaking of sausage, they are going to be with us later on this week as we are out at a very special remote with big giveaways. We'll be telling you all about it as we get closer and closer, but definitely would love to see you over on Blanding Boulevard. And we'll give you an idea of what the giveaways are, because they're going to open up registration tomorrow, which will be definitely a bunch of fun. We've been talking college football, Championship Sunday, the leftovers from the Lamar-led loss for the Baltimore Ravens, the Dan decision to go for it maybe too many times on fourth down, how costly it was, all those things we've been tearing into. And then, of course, finishing up the first hour talking about where are they going to go, and that's FSU, with the idea that maybe there's still a strategy, a way out of the Atlantic Coast Conference.
I will say this. They can play the long game.
Yeah.
So you go to the Big Ten for half a share like Oregon and Washington, but then you're down what? So that's $30 million. They're
You
making
take a
what,
loss
40,
like
42,
right at
43
first.
million. So you
Hang
take
on,
a loss
so
of like
I can hear.
13 mil
Yeah.
for the first 7 years because that
Yeah.
contract's for 7 years, the new Big Ten deal. And then you hope you get a full share after. Or you hope college football hasn't completely changed by then and you have the 50 to 60 breakaway team and then everybody's under one media rights umbrella at that point.
Yeah.
But either way, you're losing money if you leave.
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right
long
now,
term, you're out of the ACC contract that people talk about like you could never get out. It'll cost you
I
your
understand that, but my point is if 7 years down the road the college football landscape has completely changed anyway, you've cost yourself, what, $100 million by leaving the ACC?
The other part of it, though, is add how long you have to wait to get out of the grant of rights that they're in now. That's longer than the 7 years.
2036, right?
Yeah, that's longer than the 7 years that you're talking about. And so that's the part. Again, it's the classic musical chairs. You got to have a place at the table, and they are the last one in, like we just mentioned heading into the 1 o'clock hour. Other big swings have been completed, not just made, completed with Oklahoma and Texas coming into the SEC this year, with UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten this year, and then them able to add Washington and Oregon, another big swing, and then the others that were left in the Pac-12, sans Oregon State and Washington State, bolt to the Big 12. I mean, all these things have happened.
Yes, but you have to understand, like, Fox wouldn't pay a full share for Oregon and Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon is a mega program.
Yeah.
With huge Nike advertising, okay? So now all of a sudden they're going to pay a full share for Florida State because they're Florida State?
Don't you think FSU gets way better ratings than Oregon and Washington, though, man?
Oregon, it's probably very close,
No.
JJ. Yes, it is.
Well,
if you
it
look
also-
back in the last
fan
probably
base, like you're
5
saying,
to 7 to 10 years, it's very close.
Yeah, it depends on who they're playing. The marquee games
Right.
matter,
Of course they do. Of course.
And so that's where the ACC has at least sagged a little bit because the ACC only has so many marquee games. We can argue, okay, let's go through the actual conference and who's got better, Big 12 or ACC. Still matters, Leon, when you talk about even Texas versus Baylor. Is that NC State versus Duke or something like that? I don't know. And that's what they look at. The eyeballs that are on those games, those marquee matchups, and how much they can sell off.
I mean, the team players inside the ACC were the underachievers this year. They were not overwhelming whatsoever. I mean, the Miamis, the Dukes, and all that, the Clemsons fared well towards the end. Mm-hmm. Florida State was only a legit team that held serve. So, I mean, if you're saying Duke and Syracuse is not attractive, you're probably right. Yeah. Or Duke or North Carolina State, you're probably right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's all about TV eyes. It's about getting people to watch the games with the marquee guys in the group.
So in 2022, the 2023 numbers aren't out yet, okay? Florida State had an average number of viewers per game of 2.03 million, okay?
Right.
That was 15 in the nation. Oregon had an average number of 2.21 for 12 in the nation.
Mm-hmm. So
They're very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah, and by the way, both of
Fox
them,
wasn't going to pay a full share for
I would argue that Florida State's schedule was so pedestrian
that's the
for
problem.
most of the year that they're still getting ratings like that, and they're playing
in 2022
way lesser opponents than
in 2022 they had Florida,
season.
LSU, Clemson, North Carolina. They had big games in 2022.
I was speaking strictly of the other
Oklahoma.
I'm thinking of like all the ones on ESPN Pluses that are getting like
the
a
ACC
zero.
network.
You're up for that,
Well, I mean,
JJ.
Oregon had a lot of those games too, JJ.
Do
believe
they?
me.
I feel like Oregon
Yes.
every week they're pretty much playing. I don't know.
They have a lot of
Pac-12
those. Like
team.
they played Portland State too.
Yeah, they
believe
had
me.
to play. They had to play on the Pac-12 network and get exiled. And wait for it. Even when they come to the Big Ten, I've been saying this because we've seen it during basketball season, and it's going to happen during football this fall. I'm bracing you all right now. That standalone Peacock game that you saw in the wild card round of the NFL,
Yeah, it's coming.
it is coming to college football. They already try to put every single Purdue men's basketball and Iowa women's basketball game, as many as they possibly can, solely on Peacock right now.
Mm-hmm. By the way, so the top viewers in 2022, again, the 2023 numbers aren't out yet. My guess
Which is
gonna
a
be
better
very similar.
comparison because FSU was actually good in 2023.
They won
they're
10
just not out
games
yet.
in 2022. They were a good team in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, they won 10.
So again, the top 5 are Ohio State at 1. I'm sure that's not surprising to you.
Mm-hmm.
5.8 million. Number 2 was Alabama, also not surprising, 5.1.
Right.
Number 3 was Michigan, also not surprising, 4.3. Number 4 was Tennessee, 4.1, and number 5 was Georgia at 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a program that gets significantly less than the top 5.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, everybody gets significantly less than the top 5.
Those are the bigs.
Because next down
do we have Florida on that list?
Next down is Notre Dame at 3.3.
Yeah, I saw the Florida Gators.
LSU's 3.2.
Mm-hmm.
Texas.
I didn't know Cajuns had that many TVs. Are you serious?
3.1. Number 9 is Penn State. These are a lot of Big Ten teams in here.
Penn
Okay?
State,
a lot of Big Ten schools. Still over 3.
Big, heavy populated
I am
region.
disgusted. I'm a little disgusted right now.
Clemson is the highest ACC. Was the highest ACC in 2022 at 2.59.
Yeah.
And then Florida at 2.57 at 11.
11th.
At 5 and 7, they had that many views.
Yeah.
Dude, UF is always going to be the biggest school in the state.
Yeah, because
It's
the alumni that we have so strong. And by the way, they have officially – it's worth of that. Okay, I don't care if it just happened or not. They officially –
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Billy Napier said, we're going to change the game, okay? We're going to go from a game-changer coordinator to an actual special teams
Round of applause. Thank you, JJ.
It is on now. And the third phase, which may have been ignored once before, will not be any longer. You get ready, people, okay? Because if you can't score on offense, if you can't keep them from scoring on defense, you got that third phase that you can start to count on now. Finally, they're not going to have two gators with number 3 on their chest trotting out, or, as Matt likes to remind us, the field goal unit running on. Anyway, Billy
He also
Napier
added a chief of staff.
Did make it. Oh, there you go.
Maybe that'll help with some of the other operational issues, like making sure that the team gets on and off the field for the field goals. And,
simple stuff.
And the jersey numbers not being the same and that sort of stuff.
This special teams guy was a Bill Belichick disciple for the Patriots. So.
And so he hired New England Patriots assistant Joe Houston. Anytime you hear that, you do think there's some pedigree. And it's kind of wild that they pull him into the collegiate ranks, but as bad as it was, they probably had some of that money left over from the Victorious Collective, and he was a former place kicker under Pete Carroll, and he's one of 10 assistant coaches that will help on that special teams.
Don't need to have 2 defensive line coaches or 2 offensive line coaches. Probably.
See, the problem is coaches aren't actually on the field playing the game. That's the problem. The people that actually win games are players. You need good players.
Listen, coaches matter too. Don't you tell that to Coach Campo.
No, I agree. No, coaches certainly matter. All I'm saying, at the end of the day, players win games.
Of course, and that's why. Look, I understand the whole idea. This is always going to be the argument: do you have the better players or do you have the better program? And I do think better program leads to better players because Kirby is recruiting off of his coaching. He's recruiting off of the product. I always call it the product, what they put on that football field. And, Leon, when you win, kids want to come play for you, with you, and succeed alongside you. And that's what Kirby's been able to do. That's why he's winning a bunch of recruiting battles.
Yeah. I mean, who was your special teams guy before you just hired one?
They didn't have one.
They didn't have one.
It was the game changer coordinator. I have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Listen, and this guy's going to be an analyst because I'm guessing he might still be having a little bit of money contractually left over. I'm not quite sure, but he will serve as an analyst rather than an assistant coach that is alongside Billy on the sideline.
You are correct, 910. The goalpost just moved. Now we can hold them to a higher standard. 637 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. How do those Patriots coaches do after they leave? Not well. Speaking of the New England Patriots, this isn't necessarily that because it was reported early this morning, but let's bring it a little closer to home. Mac Jones, the Patriots not expected to pick up his 5th-year option in the next few weeks. They will look to trade him this offseason, but he could also be back with New England in 2024.
Look, the idea that he was able to rise up at Alabama and play as well as he did, it is a great story locally. Bowl school, grew up here, all that stuff. It is a great story. And almost won the Heisman. Devonta Smith won it right alongside him with all the offensive stats that they put on the rest of the college football world. But he goes up there, and I don't think I should say victim of his own success, Leon. But as soon as they get him, it's still a good enough team, minus Tom Brady, that they go to the postseason. That was the same year They put a 50 burger on these Jaguars.
Yeah,
Mac Jones put a 50 burger on these Jaguars, and they made it to the postseason. And unfortunately for him, it's been the fall ever since. It just hasn't worked up there.
Yeah,
Not just him.
I mean, he had a promising rookie year. Absolutely had a promising rookie year when he was in there. I mean, but you hire your D coordinator to call offensive plays. That doesn't help as well. And they're talking about trading. What kind of value does he have now? Former first-round pick. A third?
Not a lot.
A third or
Not
fourth?
a third.
Well, here's the thing. There's
Probably like a
Fifth?
seventh.
There's reports.
Seventh?
Yeah, man. He's worthless.
He's in the deep end of the pool now.
Oh, he's.
huh?
I mean, he would probably go for like a fourth and a seventh, maybe.
Fourth and a seventh.
It's just
Because
a toss-in
but then
draft
Justin
pick.
Fields, it's being reported, could go if he is traded by the Chicago Bears for a first.
I find that hard to believe.
Right. Sam
maybe
Darnold
a
went for a
second.
second and a fifth. Josh Rosen, I believe, same thing, a second and a fifth. I mean,
And I guess I'm trying to think of the Rosen timeline. He was only 2 years into
1 year.
his. Was it 1 year?
It was 1
So
year.
he drew a little more. If Mac was 1 year into his career after going to the postseason, he certainly would have drawn more. But unfortunately, it has just withered away up there, in part because of how he has played and because of everything that's just gone wrong around him. Because there's no question, there's been some bad stuff up there in Boston for a while offensively.
I promise we're going to get to that free agent list, ESPN's top 50 free agents. Do you re-sign Calvin Ridley? Do you not? Hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 with your thoughts. Do want to provide an update to the Ben Johnson news we brought you last hour. Adam Schefter reporting, and Josina Anderson, as more than one person on the timeline has pointed out, reported this back in December. Ben Johnson's asking price to be a head coach of the National Football League, at least or around $15 million per year, per Josina Anderson. Adam Schefter now reporting that he was never the head coaching lock people thought because Ben Johnson's asking price spooked some teams.
Interesting. And normally Adam Schefter gets everything from agents, so that's a little bit of a surprise that he would put that out there because that agent may turn off Adam Schefter's notifications. But if you're going to reach high, I don't have any problem with that. But at the same time, you're unproven at that level, and then you got to go up there and prove it to garner that type. Like Harbaugh comes back into the National Football League, he's garnered some respect and some money coming his way. Ben Johnson, maybe not so much.
By the way, great hire by the Chargers. Joe Ortiz out of the Baltimore Ravens. Tremendous hire for their GM.
I was going to bring it up earlier, so let's bring that up because we do need to work into the free agents because the Chargers and Jimmy Harbaugh are borrowing from John and what the Baltimore Ravens have done. So we'll do that coming up. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. Hope you'll try them out. Test drive the dealership and the people, and they are there to wow you. There's no question about it. The commitment to service beyond the sale is just top of the line. So make sure you check them out, beaverchevrolet.com, Beaver Toyota, staugustine.com. So let's get into that decision because this team stood pat with their general manager. The Chargers are rebuilding with a new head coach and a new front office man.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. He's not afraid to tell the truth.
You ever hear of Superman? He died fighting next to me. My point exactly.
The truth teller, Rick Ballou.
What are your superpowers again?
Weeknights on 1010XL.
I help him because no one else does.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Cancer Center with on-site imaging, including whole-body MRI, PET and CT scans, and mammography. Early detection is key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
The Florida Forum welcomes four-star Admiral James Stavridis, February 26th. Funds raised for a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transfer more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wolfson Children's Hospital. To get your tickets, call 202-2886, 202-2886, or thefloridaforum.com. thefloridaforum.com.
Are you a plumber looking to join a locally owned company that treats you like family? Do you have at least 3 years of residential plumbing service experience? Are you willing to do plumbing work only to the current code, do top-notch, over-the-top installations, and provide 5-star customer service daily? If so, we want to meet you. We are Duck Duck Rooter, one of the fastest growing plumbing companies in Florida. Send us your resume online at duckduckrooter.com and we will call you for an interview. Equal Opportunity Employer.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills.
There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 30th, 1994, in Super Bowl 28, the Cowboys beat the Bills 30-13. Emmitt Smith wins MVP, rushing for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mia here for my friends at Arlington Toyota. No payments for 90 days and just $500 down can get you behind the wheel of a brand new Toyota. And with the help of Arlington's pre-approval program, that new Toyota will be sitting in your driveway sooner than you think. Plus, every new Toyota purchase comes with peace of mind of Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Exciting news from Leonard in Jacksonville. Now stocking your favorite brands right here at Leonard. From truck accessories, toolboxes, hitches, carry-on trailers, and more. Grand opening on February 2nd at noon with free prizes. Don't miss it. Leonard Buildings and Truck Accessories. Your truck, your style.
Attention veterans, if you have a VA loan, you need to listen to this, especially if your current rate is higher than 6.5%. Now is the time to take advantage of the federal government's VA Streamlined Refinance Program. With my friends at Loan Pronto, you can. Go to loanpronto.com. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto has fixed rate APRs in the 5s. You can drop your rate now. Lower your payment with no income documentation and no appraisal. Do it at loanpronto.com. Their all-digital platform makes it easy. They can even cover your closing costs. If you need cash now, Loan Pronto can get you up to 100% of your home value. You can pay off all your credit cards or other debt and save as much as $1,000 a month. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508 or get a 30-second rate quote at loanpronto.com. Ask about streamlined VA loans, no income doc, and no appraisal. Loan Pronto, 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Grilling Up Lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose on 1010XL.
I have been told that Matt Hayes has one more point to make in the ongoing case of Florida State if they went out independently, if they joined the Big Ten, what the ratings may look like. Take it away, Matt.
Well, it's not just that. It's so the 2023 ratings, Florida State jumped almost double. They went to 4.16 an average.
That's pretty good. That means you're playing for a lot, and a lot of people are looking at you.
Yes, 100%. Number 11 in 2023 was Washington at 4.14.
Mm-hmm.
In 2022, Washington was 34th.
Play good ball.
1.15. You know who was ahead of Washington? And their average Viewers per game?
Florida.
Illinois, Indiana, Kansas State, Baylor, the program, Iowa, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Maryland.
With emphasis.
Okay. Now, in 2023, you know who's number 3? Number 1 is Alabama. Number 2 is Ohio State. We're not shocked by any of that, right?
Yeah.
Colorado's number 3.
Because of the Deion factor.
The Deion.
Yes. So
That's
it
real,
fluctuates
isn't it? It
year
is.
by year. Okay, it fluctuates year by year, season by season.
Yeah.
Success, no success, right?
And the other thing that helped Deion is the first game they were a 21-point dog to TCU. They win that one, then all the eyeballs stay on them.
And it was big noon kickoff from
Yeah.
the jump.
Yeah, and he's polarizing. You either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
And the haters
they
came
all
to
tune
watch.
in.
Oregon, by the way, also doubled from 2.2 to 4.4.
Yeah. That's
So it's all of college football shot way up this year, by the way.
It's so funny because when we're talking numbers, and I'm just trying to quote from memory.
Florida
here.
went up with that season they had. They went
5
up from
and 7.
from 2.5 to 3.17.
Mm-hmm. And God, I apologize to all you people who are having to watch that. That's for sure. What were the eyeballs over the weekend? I don't want to speak out of turn, but it was over 50 million for the Fox broadcast.
Yes, it was the
56. Does that sound right?
highest rated that they've ever had from what I saw from Front Office Sports.
So just to give
it broke the record from the 2011 Jets-Steelers AFC Championship game, which was in a late window.
Just to give you an idea of how much the NFL dwarfs everything else. Think of that number compared to the numbers that mass. Now, again,
well, those are the average games, not the national championship.
Yeah, these are
or
individual
the
games, and then there are a
semifinals.
bunch of. There's also the total number of schools. I'm just simply saying the product's the product, okay? And the NFL just dwarfs everything, and it's not a fair argument right now, of course, because we're talking about regular season games for college football versus. But my only point is the NFL has, of the top 50 things that are out there that people view, they have 48 of them.
Yeah,
It's
no
just
doubt.
crazy.
No doubt. And it's also, that's year to year. So when you're looking at, like when television partners are looking at things, they do extended looks at it, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, okay?
Right.
But you can go back, you could go back to when Jimbo first took over, including the first, the national championship season. You go all the way to here, I bet Florida State's average is maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little over 2.
College football, easily the second most popular sport in America.
So you've got, it's just, there's
not even
my
close.
whole point is this: there's way more to this than people just say. Well, you just go to the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not that simple.
Oh no, that I agree with.
It's just not that simple.
Yeah, but look, we either overreact or instantly react to everything, and we have solutions. Remember, nothing's impossible to the guy who doesn't have to do it. And so you just keep saying, go here, go there, do that, do this.
Right, and we all kept saying, well, yeah, Oregon and Washington, it's a no-brainer. It is because USC and UCLA were demanding they needed someone to travel with on the West Coast.
And that's also...
That's the only reason Oregon and Washington were added for travel.
Yeah.
The only reason. And they were added as half members. So now the Big Ten's going to randomly add 2 more?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you had to predict at the end of the 2025 season, so
if they get out,
will they be not by then, but will the paperwork be, will it be official that they are leaving the ACC by the end of 2 seasons?
I think it could be as soon as this off season. If that case gets to a Florida court, if it's moved to a Florida court,
so where do you think they'll go to the Big 12?
They're going to get out because the Florida court will not say that Florida State can't talk publicly about how the sausage is made. Once that happens, the ACC there's no chance they're doing that. Then they'll let them go.
But then where do they go?
Well, that's the whole thing. Now, if they go as a half member to the Big Ten, would they do it? Of course they would. But I don't. But why would you do that? Then you're literally for the next 7 years. You're costing yourself $12 million a year.
Yeah, but then the long game.
The long game is right. Yeah. But this JJ and I were talking about this off the air. The long game is also in 7 years the entire landscape could change.
Sure.
You might have 50 to 60 teams that have broken away because of pay for play.
Right.
And they're all under one media rights umbrella.
So they could just be waiting for chaos.
They could be right back where they are.
Nikki Haley praying that someone gets arrested. Or
coming in third is not the worst thing in the world.
If you want to move it to the analogy of politics, it could be that. Sure.
Yeah. And so it's big business. You're right. We should never lose sight of that. There's so much at stake compared to just our eyeballs watching something entertaining, playing for a conference championship.
This dude says I will give Matt $1K
but it ain't going away
on the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can we save that text?
I'm going to save your number, brother.
Yeah.
Well, what's the time limit on that bet? I mean,
let's ask him. 626. When does FSU have to join the Big Ten?
They can
Please
accept
respond.
it as a half member or a reduced share, of course.
Well,
they can do that.
I just don't know why they wouldn't do that. I get they're making $12 million less every year for the next 7 years.
$12 million's a lot of money.
But what's the other alternative?
Stay in there and get the $12 million until college football rebrands.
Well, how much are they making from the ACC? Is $12 million less?
42
Whatever
annually.
it is, it's $12 million less. That's all that matters. Yeah.
So if you get half a share with the Big Ten, or if you get what Washington and Oregon are getting, that's $30 million.
All right, listen. If they go in as a half member, we're splitting the $1,000 with you from this guy.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all right. Can we do that?
Does he still pay me the $1,000 if they go in as a half member?
Yeah, I hope so. I say yes, and then we get to split it all.
Listen, Oregon's not calling themselves a half member. This is a very journalist.
No. I don't know. I mean, no.
Thing to be like, oh, they're half members.
You're hearing me wrong.
Oregon's a member. They're making half the money.
You're hearing me wrong. A half member financially. They are a member. Yes,
yeah, of course. Yeah, they're playing for
which is all they care about right now. That's why they're leaving the ACC because of money.
Just take a look at what SMU did. SMU was desperate, jumped into the ACC, and they don't get anything for the first couple of years.
Yeah, they're rich though.
Yeah.
626 has updated the terms, Matt. You will get $1,000 if FSU is not in the Big Ten. The ACC will bet more from the Big 12, which is funny since Matt thinks we are going to the Big 12. When FSU leaves and announces and they go to the Big 12.
I love all the possibilities here. Someone's going to win some cash.
Yeah, he's like asking me, do I agree? Whatever, man. Just give me the $1,000 if it doesn't happen. I don't care.
Speaking of money, should the Jaguars pay Calvin Ridley this offseason? That is the question we are asking you, Nooner Nation, on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. 368 looking for clarification, so let's begin with that. They apparently a little confusion among the Jaguar fan base exactly where that conditional pick lies. Because I guess on Jaguars Today, they were explaining this. Let us explain. Yes, 368. Mike Dempsey is correct when he says that if the Jaguars re-sign Calvin Ridley after free agency begins, I believe it's March the 13th, then that conditional pick is a third-round pick. If they re-sign him or tag him, because that is considered an extension, to my knowledge, then that pick would be a second rounder going back to the Atlanta Falcons.
And so it's timing, and you have to make your decision. And Calvin Ridley, I don't know whether, this has also been suggested, hey, don't worry, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But if he lets free agency open up.
Because he's going to have to be out there.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you can say we have this handshake agreement, we have a wink-wink for you Florida State fans, agreement out there. The truth of the matter is he might get on the open market and the Carolina Panthers might say, well, we're going to pay you $100 million. Yeah. And Leon, I mean, Calvin Ridley's not going to say no to that. That's just the reality of the situation.
Well, his agent is not going to let him say no to that, absolutely. If some team comes around offering him that kind of money, absolutely. I mean, he's about to hit the free agency market. I mean, listen, do you pay him? He's not a number one. He's a good number two. Well, we paid a good number two to come here a couple of years ago, didn't we? Christian Kirk.
Overpaid
him to come
Had
here.
to.
And it ended up working out.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. I mean.
But if you go down the list, T. Higgins is the highest rated wide receiver right now and a good player, big, strong guy, but also has not been the number one. How did he succeed? Jamar Chase on the other side. You can easily make that argument. And then you got to get down to the Mike Evanses of the world, a very, very good player. From the minute he walked off a college bus onto an NFL football field, he's been a superstar, a stud. You're going to have to look at him. He is – I don't know the likelihood of him getting out of Tampa Bay. I really don't know. We'll have plenty of time to go over that. But he's also 31 years of age. And anyway, it goes down quickly in terms of the available wide receivers.
Because I know we have to take a break. So let me say this, and then we'll head to a break, and then please give us your thoughts about re-signing Calvin Ridley, what to do about the wide receiver market on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Again, that's 904-641-1010. For me, and this is coming from the individual who reported that Calvin Ridley ran the wrong route, that there was miscommunication. Did he know the playbook fully? The alerts, being aware.
Don't forget he loves football.
He loves football.
Loves to practice.
He loves to practice. He was out of football for 2 years. I think you find a way to, if you can re-sign him, you do. Here is the number that I'm going to go to. ESPN's top 50 free agents. Of the top 50, there are 5 wide receivers, one of which is Calvin Ridley. On Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 on NFL.com that dropped about an hour ago, there are 11 wide receivers in his top 50 overall players. That speaks to the depth in this class. Now, do I think you can afford drafting somebody and expecting them to be a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver day one? Absolutely not. That's why I would re-sign Calvin Ridley. I'd hope Zay Jones is healthy in the 3rd year of his deal. But I am absolutely, if T. Higgins is not a possibility because of the Trevor connection, I would absolutely say, let me draft a wide receiver, let him develop while Calvin Ridley is here, while Zay Jones is here, and opt for that route as opposed to another Band-Aid free agent fix like this organization has done time and time again.
I agree with that totally. And I'll tell you something else. Develop Parker Washington. How about developing your draft picks? How about that? How about developing free agents that you pick up? Like
I'm all for it.
You know, or late round picks or street free agents after the draft. Develop somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else does it. That's number 1. Number 2, with Calvin Ridley, I think he's going to take less. You know why? If to Mia's point, you know, if he was really running routes in the offense, it took him a while to learn. Does he really want to go try and learn another offense?
Yep.
Does he really want to go do that again?
For the amount of money he might get.
I get all that, but at some point you got to say, all right,
never forget.
Where can I be my best, make money, be my best, and at least have a little comfort? If he likes the organization, if he's happy, you take less because you don't have to start new again.
All right, let's stay on that subject with your Jacksonville Jaguars as far as what they will do, won't do, or what he might want to come back.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. What's that? Find 1010XL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching 1010XL and follow the conversation on social media because listening at the dinner table would be rude.
Best Bet is number 1. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play against a designated player, one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war. Just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. You know, battling a sinus infection for the past few weeks has been no picnic, especially when trying to stick to a weight loss program. But here's the funny thing. With Awaken 180, the trick to losing weight is actually eating. Now, when you're under the weather and have zero appetite, keeping up with the diet plan sounds like climbing Mount Everest. But here's the kicker. Even though I wasn't feeling hungry, I didn't gain a pound. In fact, I'm now 36 pounds lighter, all thanks to my coach, Krista. Without her guidance, I probably would have thrown in the towel and watched those pounds creep back. The Awaken 180 coaches have seen it all and helped more than 21,000 others get through every imaginable scenario. So if you're tired of going solo and want a coach, a friend really, in your corner, stop trying to wing it. Call the experts at Awaken 180 Weight Loss at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or check them out online at awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, it is a game changer.
Hey, Scarline here. Tired of missing out on the conversation due to hearing loss? At Jacksonville Hearing and Balance, their team of audiologists led by Dr. Douglas Green can help you rediscover the joy of connection. Visit jhbi.org today.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA-certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reich Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O. If you want high quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith,
at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's KENAI Water Jacksonville.
Hey, this is David here with Royal Pest Services. Do you have that room in the house that is just too cold in the winter and just too hot in the summer? To learn about our pest-rated insulation, visit RoyalPestServices.com or call 886-2847.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow-smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that diabetes is a leading cause of blindness and affects up to 34 million Americans? Please don't take diabetes lightly. If you have diabetes, see your favorite Bowden Eye doc and save your vision. Bowden Eye is dedicated to the protection and preservation of the treasured gift of sight. Bowden Eye & Associates. Visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. New location now open off County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose on 1010XL.
We are rocking along. Big Searcy. One more seg with our Pro Bowler before he heads out. We got Coach Campo coming in the 2 o'clock hour, Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, bringing you today's show. Would love for you to keep hanging out with us. You can hit the text line or go to YouTube. We've been talking about Calvin Ridley, and well, this is not a never-ending discussion, but it isn't just a one-show discussion either. But when you compare free agents that are available at his position that are out there, and then you compare the idea, as Mian mentioned, the possibility of drafting a guy, how high would you draft him, and would you be able to immediately have the production that you're looking for that Calvin provided or more? And then as Matt mentioned, coach your guys. I mean, there's all these different things that are out there that you have to ultimately make a decision. After all, that's what Trent Baalke should be doing all the time. That's what his job is to figure it out. How can I get the best players on the football field? And if I am going to suggest right now a whistle around your neck wannabe guy, if he's charging his coaches with developing players and making them better, yeah, I'm all for that. It would be great because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what our coach, Coach Campo, did countless years. He took Rasheed Mathis, looked him in the eye, said, you do this, I'll make you a Pro Bowler. Made him a Pro Bowler. And so you have to pair all that up. But when you only have so many free agents at that position that are attractive, are you willing to take a big swing and sign somebody else? Or are you going to keep the guy you got? Or, as you said, Mia, when you go through the number of receivers, you're not going to get those guys necessarily at the top. Marvin Harrison Jr. ain't walking through that door because you're picking.
But it's as deep a wide receiver class as it's been, which is where you could have the luxury of you do take that offensive lineman or that defensive lineman in the first round, and there is still a good wide receiver waiting for you in the second.
Yeah, and I I don't mind at all the idea of getting a guy in the draft and developing him because of how much we've ranted and raved over what other teams have done. Leon, you just take a look at the superstars that were out there this year that were rookies. And Puka Nacua and Sam Laporta and on and on and on. But that's the fight.
Yeah, but you got to look at this team's track record. I mean, how well and how often do they develop players to where they have an impact? I mean, they got a plethora of guys who just ran out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't have any. Chason, a litany of guys. I mean, but there's a litany of guys that didn't come through for this franchise. So I mean, that's got to be in perspective. We say it's easier said than done. You say, hey, just draft a guy and develop him. Well, look at this team's track record when it comes to developing guys. Now, Anton was, he was an anomaly.
Well,
Anton Harrison, he started.
Yeah.
But then the guys behind him, I mean.
Well, heck, just the wide receiver position alone.
Yeah.
Last couple of guys that they spent second-round draft picks, higher picks, second-round draft picks, did not see a second contract. Okay, They did not. Allen Robinson and Marquise Lee were
DJ Chark.
Yeah, a couple of the last big swings that they have made, and they haven't done it. Now,
well, so my question for you, Leon, is what are you doing at the wide receiver position then? Are you re-signing Calvin Ridley? Are you drafting a wide receiver? Are you signing someone else?
Well, I mean, it depends on what he's asking for. I mean, if you can get him, his agent, you're not going to get him on the discount. You're going to get him at the market value. And I just think that right now, what other transactions that we've got to make, as far as, Josh Allen, Trevor, and all that kind of stuff, are you going to give? Are you going to give him a $100 million contract? Are you going to give him an $80 million contract? Has he earned it? I mean, you're talking about what, 78 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that the market for a $100 million contract? Which he's going to ask for? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean. And then where does Trevor? I mean, Trevor's got to be involved in this too. I mean, there's got to be, their relationship early on in the season was daunting. Misreads, misroutes, no routes. Disappearing acts by Calvin Ridley at particular times. I mean, it was times in ball games where he just didn't get a ball. And I'm like, is he playing? Is he on IR?
Is that a number one wide receiver?
No, I mean,
and that's what you still need unless you are waving the white flag. Which honestly, you can wave the white flag and say Christian Kirk is your one. I am okay with that, especially
he's the most reliable.
He's your most reliable wide receiver. He's the most reliable target outside of Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this from one of the analytics guys on X that Christian Kirk actually retweeted it this morning. The best wide receivers getting open versus single man coverage, and then how often they're open when they just have one defender on them. Christian Kirk, 4th in the National Football League, 47% of the time. 47.92. The only 3 receivers ahead of him, Keenan Allen, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Dontavian Wicks, who had less single man snaps than Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
and if you're the number one wide receiver, yes, you may see double teams, but more often than not, are you not being left alone on an island against their number one corner?
Yeah, and you got to get open if that's the case. If they're not rolling coverage and you got one-on-one, you got to beat it. You got to.
And that's why T-Law and him connected so many times, because he was security blanket because he did break free and he was open. And Wicks is, talk about guys that were developed. Wicks is a come-along guy that developed up in Green Bay. Obviously, the other guys, the Watsons, the Dobbs of the world, the Dubes, as I like to call them, they all have turned into legit playmakers. And you have to have those types of guys. All right, I feel like we need to transition into a perfecto with this question since we're on the Jags, because there's so many studs that have worn the teal and black in years past. So let's go from the Atlantic to the Pacifico with this question. Perfecto. That's what we're looking for. Now, this is a JJ-provided question. Okay? He is exempt from the proceedings. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, as if we have witnessed, drafted and developed free agents in such a way that when I say 7 of them are going to appear in the Super Bowl, you would not be shocked at all, would you? You would not be shocked at all with the talent that has come through Duval that is now going to play in the Super Bowl. Now, I will ask you, of those 7 names.
Yes.
Okay, see if you can rattle them off.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because I'm sure you've studied this. I know this one over here to the right has studied this big time.
I'm ready.
And when I say play in the Super Bowl, That's a figurative term.
They're on
They'll
the
be
53.
dressed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin with those.
Dressed for the Super Bowl.
Let's begin in order of proximity to the last time they played in Jacksonville.
Also, they're on the roster. They might not be dressed.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. Ben Barch.
All right, there we go.
Chris Conley.
All right, and you are going in recency.
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
All right.
So Jawan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Conley.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's on the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm letting her. Yeah, I'm not stopping her until she stops herself.
Tashawn Gibson. Now I'm slowing down a little bit.
Tayshaun was a fun cat.
He
to
was
watch.
great in the locker room too.
He was. He was so.
They thought he was over the hill. He's played 5 more years in the league.
He really has. He was a soundbite machine. He was a little pricey, and he might have freelanced a little bit. Whatever. He made some plays. All right, who else you got?
We're close to a perfecto.
Yeah, I mean you're
3 more.
on your way to perfecto.
3 more.
Okay, so right now we have Jawan Taylor, we have Tayshaun Gibson, which was a nice reach. You've got, of course, Ben Barch, who was here most recently. You got Chris Conley,
the All-Pro.
who his average yards per catch pretty impressive, and then he did.
Not Miles Jack.
No, Miles is on the Steelers.
I thought he retired.
Yeah, so these other ones are reachers.
Oh, Blaine Gabbert.
All right, there you go.
Oh.
Yep. Blaine
Thinking
Gabbert.
backup.
Legend.
Yeah, I had to start thinking backups.
Yep.
And what about special teamers?
Yeah, it's going to be something like that, or like a backup D.
All right, so we'll finish it out because the other ones are, I'm looking at one person when I say this. You'll be mad at yourself when you don't get it.
Yeah.
The other two, I'm not expecting them to get these.
Yeah.
Blake Bell.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
of course.
Blake Bell, you should have.
Of course.
Bulldozer.
And you don't even have to apologize. Tyree Gillespie. That's just.
Who?
Yeah, the Missouri
Yeah.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Once
and
upon a
so-
time, a Jaguar.
Yeah, and so just a short
Yeah, I
stint.
wouldn't have gotten that one. Blake
Right.
Bell,
Yeah, Blake Bell was the one that I thought you might have been able to pull the
Tyree Gillespie
proverbial
wouldn't have been able to get that.
rabbit out of the hat. But Blake Bell would be the other one that was definitely a bigger name, but that's for sure. And Brandon Allen.
Oh,
wow,
right. Another quarterback.
Dude,
Yep,
true. I
Brandon
forgot.
Allen.
What a
And-
list of legends.
Yeah, and that guy just kind of came through here, and you're like, is he still here? Oh, wait a minute. You couldn't quite remember. 6th-round pick of the Jaguars in 2016. So who knows? He could have turned into Brock Purdy for all we know. But that's what Dave was doing back in the day. Okay, he was finding diamonds late in the draft.
And
so
unfortunately, 6'5" Tyson Alualu was on the Detroit Lions
Mm-hmm.
this year, so will not be playing.
Is he still in the
He
league?
He made a tackle
He made a
on
play.
Sunday.
He made a play in the championship
I missed
game, and
that
I'm like,
one.
whoa!
Forgot Tyson was on Detroit this year.
And he's just another one of those interior guys, and he was the classic lunch pail guy, even though he was a top 10 pick overall. That may not, those two shouldn't go together, but he was always prepared, working, just wasn't quite that dominant guy along that defensive line as you would expect.
If you've been in the career this long, or in the league this long, I mean, you've had a pretty
Definitely,
solid career.
You've made yourself a living, that's for sure, and he definitely has. So, yeah, good on him. All right, there you go. Little Perfecto by Pacifico, found in Baja, imported by surfers. For those who live life anchors up, you definitely can enjoy a Pacifico. All right, Big Searcy, you are out the door. Tomorrow, we are going to look at some of those free agents that you have crafted a list. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't have
It's
to
not
say
a good list. It's not a good list.
It's the top 50 free agent bust.
I had to
signings.
check to make sure I wasn't on it from the Ravens. So.
You're still a top 10
Hey,
in
I'm still a top
Baltimore's
one in
mind.
Baltimore, absolutely.
All right, enjoy the rest of the
All
afternoon.
right, you got
All
it.
right, so Big Searcy heads out. Coach Campo heads in. And we'll talk about at least some of the decisions that have been made in the coaching ranks. The decision that we had earlier, Ben Johnson pulling his name out of consideration for the Washington and Seattle gigs, the two that are left. We'll talk about everything else that's going on coming out of Championship Sunday and get ready for the Super Bowl with our head coach, Coach Campo, coming up next.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance of CBS Sports.
I'm Marvin Lewis.
This is Archie Manning, and you're listening to 1010XL.
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 92.5 FM.
Why does everyone seem to hesitate to buy a used car these days? Probably because the warranties stink. Well, we only offer the best cars that can pass our 160-point inspection and qualify for the Beaver Certified program with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You mean just Chevys and Toyotas, right? Nope, all of them. Nissans? Yep. Fords? That's right. Hondas? You bet. What about all of them? And if you want to see all of them, come see us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we truly love the game of golf. We invite you to book your next tee time here and enjoy a golfing experience that you might not find at other public facilities. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision and equal opportunity employer.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Exciting news from Leonard in Jacksonville. Now stocking your favorite brands right here at Leonard. From truck accessories, toolboxes, hitches, carry-on trailers, and more. Grand opening on February 2nd at noon with free prizes. Don't miss it. Leonard Buildings and Truck Accessories. Your truck, your style.
Shen Yun shows are coming January 30th to 31st to Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Shen Yun revives 5,000 years of civilization through choreographed dance, with music combining classical Western and Chinese instruments and dynamic 3D backdrop. Come see it at least once in your lifetime. January 30th through 31st. Tickets at shenyun.com/FL.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Cold out there now? You want it warm and cozy inside, but is your home heating system safe to use regularly? Let Bold City Heating and Air perform a winter system checkup now for only $49. The Bold City team will optimize and revitalize your heating system so it's running safe and at peak efficiency. Don't waste hundreds by running your system poorly. Schedule a winter system checkup with BoldCityAC.com. Just $49 for peace of mind. Visit BoldCityAC.com.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
904-274-5522. QC Kinetics. 904-274-5522.
The new year is the perfect time to make sure that your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get $250 off your new roof, plus flexible financing options. This offer expires January 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Hey folks, Hicken here. Now that your kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I bet you can see it's time to get those carpets and sofas clean. I'm telling you, give Zero Res a try if you haven't already. They clean the carpet, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google them. More than 5,000 five-star customer reviews. And right now, 20% off carpet cleanings, 20% off upholstery. Zero Res. You spell it forward, you spell it backwards. Zero Res is the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight?
Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. For just the second time in franchise history, the Jaguars have a Pro Bowl tight end.
Dropping is Trevor. Looking. Fires in the left side of the end zone. That ball's going to be caught for the touchdown. Evan Ingram in the left corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie with the call on Jaguars radio. Evan Ingram joins Mercedes Lewis as the second tight end in franchise history to be named to the Pro Bowl. Ingram's 114 catches for 963 yards led all NFL tight ends in 2023 and set franchise records this season in Jacksonville. It's 64 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. XL Primetime's coach Dave Campo is brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Online at boldcityac.com.
I think the song choices are always, planned out for kind of where we are. Mood-wise.
He has like 3 songs, and I'll go through them. But, right now it's...
But they do kind of apply. Kind of running on empty right now.
Yeah.
But our coach, you're never running on empty. Fired up, ready to go. But, maybe the football fan base is just a little depleted.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not the same as it was last year. But, listen, it's exciting. The games this weekend were exciting.
Yes. All right, so we've got our head coach, Dave Campo, former Dallas Cowboy head coach, longtime assistant. And I always feel like I fail sometimes pointing out that not only were you, winner of Super Bowl rings as a defensive coordinator, and you were also a coach inside the building at the bank down there when this team went to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Go back in time, folks, and find out the last time this team went to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Campo was in the building. I mentioned Rasheed Mathis earlier today. So let's hit Championship Sunday because we have later in the week and next week to look at the Super Bowl. But I made the point earlier, Coach, that one team drastically changed their style in Baltimore offensively and lost. And the other team, Detroit, they were who we thought they were, and they played aggressively and lost. What did you think of Championship Sunday?
Well, first of all, let me just say this. For the teams that were in that game, the winner of that game yesterday was the best day of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it is really difficult to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't think that really the casual fan understands how difficult it is. And everything has to go right. Because when you get to the end in those championship games, every mistake you make can cost you the football game because you got fairly equal teams, and that was not an exception. You look at the teams that won that game; they had some luck on their side, or they made plays when they had to. So, when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, that's the one that concerns me the most is how much they change. When you don't run the ball, that's what they did all year. And listen, I don't like any officials. And I don't like any offensive coordinators. They outthink themselves way, way too many times. And I think they went into that game saying, okay, we can run the ball on these guys, but I'll tell you what, they're susceptible to this and that and this and that. Right. And unfortunately, Spagnuolo made the decision, and you asked me last week which quarterback was the guy concerned more about.
Yeah, the most difficult to defend.
Defend as if I just said just the quarterback, I would have said
Lamar.
Because if he can get loose, you got to do something to stop that guy, period.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, I felt, was a more diverse offense with a quarterback that can do a lot of different things. So that's the way I went. Well, Spagnuolo did a great job in the game because he either 5-man or 6-man rushed 80% of the game. Yeah. So the gaps for him to do what he does best, Lamar's run, they weren't there. The one big run he had, the inside tackle had the gap taken care of, and he tried to spin inside when he stepped up, and that was a hole, and he took off on it. That's how. But most of the time, they had the gaps lined up. But you still have to run the football when you've got a team that's how they game into the football game. That's why they're there.
And, of course, they played right into Spagnuolo's hand by having Lamar sit back in the pocket and not move.
Correct.
I don't know if you heard us in the opening hour of today's episode of XL Primetime, Coach, because Matt and I were both calling for you. Is it safe to say this, because we've never coached in a championship series game, but you have. You can't change philosophically. You can change situationally.
No question.
To adapt to whatever the situation is.
You know I'm not really big on the analytics anyway, and analytics are okay. The thing that bothers me about analytics is when you hear somebody say, okay, this particular – and by the way, Detroit was very successful all year doing it, okay? But when you say, the success rate, if they go for it here, is 52%, well, that means 48% of the time you're not going to make it. So when you make that decision, it has to be calculated with everything else that's going on in the football game. Are you concerned that if you don't get it and score a touchdown, that these guys, your defense is out of
gas, yeah.
Out of gas. It happened to us in Philadelphia, one of the Super Bowl, the year that we won the Super Bowl. We were in Philadelphia. We ran him on a playoff tackle on 3rd and 1. We had the best offensive line in the league. We had Emmitt Smith. We don't make it. Our defense, it was the fourth quarter, and we were out of gas. And Barry called up to Ernie Zampese and said, should we go for it here? It was about the 40-yard line coming out. And Ernie said, yeah, we can get it. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Because I knew if we didn't make it, we were going to get beat anyway.
Right.
But that's what you're talking about situationally. You go up 3 scores, if I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm sitting back and relaxing.
Yes.
And you're livid.
Because I'm going to force them to
drive the length.
To go the length of the field 3 times.
You just sit there and cover 4 the entire time, right?
Sit down and relax. Back up.
Okay,
that was my whole point is if you go up 3 scores, the pressure's all on them.
Absolutely.
So that's what Matt's been saying. So are you livid if your head coach doesn't do what?
Well, as an assistant coach,
yeah.
I mean, I listen. When you're the defensive coach, you think you're the head coach. It just happens to be you don't have as many guys. You only got your half of the team.
Man, I just sit back and cover for the whole time and say, go ahead and dink and dunk your way down the field. There's only 10 minutes to go in the game anyway.
But it's like sometimes it's hard as hell to hang on. Okay, it really is. When you're trying to survive a storm, an onslaught of they're going to throw everything at you, and I totally get it. But at the half, okay, he's smart. He decides to kick the field goal. Come back in the 3rd quarter, I'm going to go back to my aggressive way. That's fine.
Yep.
But then after everything came unraveled,
Absolutely.
you dang sure better kick the field
Take
goal.
the points. And I'm a take the point kind of a person anyway.
Right.
As a conservative, I'm a defensive coaches by and
It
large.
makes the defensive coordinator's life easier. If
Yeah.
you take those
It's
points.
also, Dave, this is what I don't understand. Everybody says, well, that's who they are. Well, if that's who they were, then why didn't they go for it at the end of the first half?
Right.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go for it
Right.
then? So if
Right.
you decide to kick a field goal then because you wanted the points and you wanted that lead, right? You wanted that 3-possession lead. Why would you not do it again in the second half?
Yeah, Yahtzee.
Plus, if you're 1 score down or 10 points or something like that, you might say to yourself, "Look, we're not going to hold on.
Yes, exactly.
He got caught in the moment.
We need to get up to the. He got caught, just like you said. He got caught in the. We've been aggressive all year.
We do this all year.
That's what we're going to do.
And the worst example of it, and I will never forget it because of all the lines that I like to play, but I will never forget him on a great designed play with a tackle eligible that against Dallas that was denied with the flag and all the controversy that came with it, he kept going for it.
Yep.
And at some point, you need to be
kick the point,
and go to
move
overtime.
On.
Yeah.
Right.
And he refused to do it.
And I think that's unfortunately, you kind of get into that mode, and it's just like Mia said. Situationally, you got to use some common sense. Like Staley last year, going for it on the 20-yard line. I mean, that's to me. There's a difference between being aggressive and being.
Nonsensical. Yeah,
I mean, it borders on ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that the Niners, and again, part of this was that as opposed to being down 3 scores, they were only down 2, that the Niners, who, again, came into the divisional round, I think it was 0-31 or something like that, in Kyle Shanahan's tenure, went down by multiple scores at halftime, that they were able to claw their way back into this one for a second straight week.
Well, again, I text, I think it was Matt or you, I can't remember who. I text all of you guys.
All I know is you texted me. You texted me at one point, and it was like, "What are the 49ers doing?" And then I was FaceTiming with my parents, and in the context of that 40-minute FaceTime call, the game had completely flipped the script.
Yeah, well, I think it was Matt. I think I made the comment that the game's far from over,
right?
But San Francisco has a long road here. Well, I've seen it a bunch over the years of a team jumping out 17 or 20. 21 in the first half, and in the second half they make adjustments, and really Baltimore did defensively against Kansas City. Kansas City did nothing in the second half. No. It was a reverse.
Right.
But I've seen that happen many times. The game is not over when you got that quality of weapons on the offensive side. So I really think it comes down to if you got. I can't remember when. He went for the fourth down in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
Where he could have gone up 3 scores, right?
No, that's the third quarter.
The third quarter.
Yeah.
With that time frame there, maybe he just felt that they were going to claw back on them.
That's when it got down. It whittled away so fast. It was like watching a piece of ice melt because. Started the third quarter, San Francisco goes down the field, and you say to yourself, all right, make a stop. They make a stop. They force a field goal. You're like, okay, that's a little mini dub right there.
Exactly.
Well, then they get the ball back. They're not able to do anything with it, and then San Francisco comes back down and scores. Then the fumble by Jameer.
Correct.
And then within basically, a 5-minute span, they lost everything that they had gained in the first, 2.5 quarters of the game.
And I'll tell you what, the NFL is unforgiving.
Yeah.
You fumble a ball in that situation, that's enough to lose the ball game right there.
And if you wonder what momentum looks like, just take a look at that little
absolutely
handful of minutes.
Yep.
Because that's what momentum looks like. And even the crazy play with Ayuk bouncing off of a defender, everything that went along with it. It was nuts. And I was praying for the over, so I was okay with all that. All right, so let's keep going because we will eventually look at Championship Sunday, but also this coaching carousel. The decision that the offensive coordinator for Detroit made to, if he was a candidate, he decided to remove his name from consideration. Good idea, bad idea? We'll ask you that, as well as your early lean on the Super Bowl coming up. We got our head coach, Coach Campo, with our Campo and Joe podcast to follow on Facebook Live around 3 o'clock, so hopefully you'll be able to tune in for that as well.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Wherever you go, there we are.
I know. I checked online.
1010XL is on your smartphone and tablet. Download our free app for all devices and take us with you around Duval and around the world.
Joe C. for Gold and Diamonds Direct Valentine's shoppers. Really, it's an easy process. If you walk in the door of Gold and Diamonds Direct, everything's going to be taken care of. How bad can that be? You want to make your Valentine's smile? They can take care of it from that point on. Now, you go in there, you're shopping for earrings, maybe a bracelet, anklet, necklace, whatever it might be. They have such a vast selection. They deal in gold. They can craft jewelry to your specifications. Just make sure you head on in there because it'll get busy, but you want to be in and make sure that you get a great deal. Gold and Diamonds Direct. They are right there on Racetrack Road, Publix Plantation Plaza with 40 years of experience just waiting for you with Chip and Curtis and Sammy and everybody else. Racetrack Road, check out Gold and Diamonds Direct for your Valentine.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Frank Frangie here. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, and I love living here. But I also know how bad bugs are in Florida. So I trust Orange Environmental Services to handle all my pest control needs because they've got the best technicians and effective treatment. Their name may be orange, but they think green. Orange Environmental has been serving the First Coast for over 50 years, and they now offer complete lawn maintenance services. Call Orange Environmental Services for peace of mind from bug problems today. Call them at 272-3284. That's 272-3284.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
I'm Sheriff TK Waters with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We're currently hiring for police, corrections, 911 dispatchers, and various civilian jobs. And for a limited time, JSO is offering a hiring incentive of up to $10,000 for police and corrections applicants. Details are available at joinjso.com. I invite you to apply today and start your journey as a law enforcement professional, helping us drive down crime and foster positive relationships with citizens. Are you ready to be a part of the solution? The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity, equal access employer.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. Want the freshest seafood in town? From mahi to tuna to scallops to oysters. Mayport CNC Fisheries is in Atlantic Beach. Do what I did. Go enjoy Mayport CNC Fisheries.
Hey, Scarline here. Tired of missing out on the conversation due to hearing loss? At Jacksonville Hearing and Balance, their team of audiologists led by Dr. Douglas Green can help you rediscover the joy of connection. Visit jhbi.org today.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. You heard me. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or, if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or loanpronto.com, 999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39 APR, subject to lender approval.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O. If you want high quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's KENAI Water Jacksonville.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
I'm realizing now we've gotten 2 hours and 19 minutes into the program, Coach Campo, and we have yet to congratulate Evan Ingram, an alternate for the Pro Bowl, officially headed to Orlando this weekend. Round of applause, JJ, along with Josh Allen and Ross Matizik. His second Pro Bowl of his career, well-deserved. I see plenty of you on the text line still clamoring about, how do you have 100-plus catches and less than 1,000 yards? Well, it's an argument for another day, and it's certainly an argument worth having. But in the interim, congratulations to Evan Ingram. And because we cannot have Coach Campo in the building and not bring up something regarding the Dallas Cowboys, an interesting development, let's call it, in Texas. Some X-Files music, please, JJ. The Buccaneers website reported Baker Mayfield replaced Dak Prescott in the Pro Bowl games because Dak is, quote, unable to participate due to injury. That is not accurate. Two people familiar with the situation told the Dallas Morning News. The reason is personal, not medical.
Wow.
The Dak Prescott discourse, just like the Lamar Jackson discourse, it will rage on ever since being eliminated.
Probably doesn't want to face the media.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to talk.
That's correct.
Yeah. And if you have any reason to get out of the Pro Bowl, I think you employ it. I think you use it.
It's not in Hawaii anymore, so you don't get a good vacay.
Yeah. It's funny that
free tickets to all the Disney and
oh yeah.
These guys aren't worried about paying.
Right. If Hacker was a Pro Bowler, he'd take it every time.
Pal.
Yeah. But honestly, like in Baker, like we said, a bit of a renaissance man this year. He's happy to go because he had a rebirth, and who knows what's going to happen with him contractually. But yeah, Dak just put me behind the curtain. I don't want to come back out and talk to anybody for a while.
Hey, real quick before we get back into another subject, I want to circle back real quick. As a coach, how do you stem momentum, the other guy's momentum? Like when you feel it, and it's definitely switched, what do you do?
That's a good question. I think there'd be a lot of guys still around today coaching if they had that answer. I think the biggest thing is, when you get into a situation like that, the only thing that really stems it is a big play of some sort.
Do you get more aggressive, you think, in
your
your calling?
I think you might, do a little bit more, a reverse pass or something where something that makes, that kind of juices everybody up again.
Sucks the air out of them.
Yeah. And you see it every once in a while when a team scores and they kick it off and a guy runs it back about 50 yards.
Yeah.
It just ended the momentum right there. It's just now you're back to a regular ball game. So I think it's a big play is the only way to really do it. And, maybe every once in a while one of the players on the sideline gets after some guys and that might make a difference, too, on how you play that next series, So, I wish I knew the
You've seen the video that's going around social media of Troy getting on the offensive lineman saying it's ridiculous. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was getting on me, too, because he said the head coach won't do anything about it either.
Oh, that's classic.
I didn't know you were head coach saying. I wasn't throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, you were. You got me. Listen,
that was Barry, actually.
But really, to be honest with you, that was the way he was. He's that's him.
Yeah, and make other guys accountable. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Charge them.
Absolutely.
Like 16 needs to do more of that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like we said, we've seen some guys that are docile and need to be dogs in those situations. Ratchet up the intensity a little bit, make yourself accountable, and if you do that, you can make others accountable.
Yeah, and I think you have to be accountable to make others accountable, and that's kind of what Leon says all the time. You can't just somebody go off and then all of a sudden they jump off sides. The next series, it doesn't help you any.
That's why I maintain Trevor needs to put a standard on himself.
Right.
Like he really does need to challenge himself this offseason.
I tell you, I'll be honest with you. I agonized the way he played this year a little bit, but I'm telling you, when you're hurt, forced, I know it's excuses. Matt's the best at pointing that out.
No, I'm still behind him. He's got to play better, but I'm behind him.
Just when you're hurt like that, and especially the guy that's running the show, and you can't do some of the things that makes you who you are, that's a big difference in my mind.
Let's
it's also 60 turnovers. Dave.
Yeah, no, I know.
You gotta
I mean, there's a
protect the
lot
ball
of
at
things
some
he
point.
needs to get better at. I'm not saying that.
Let's pair that injury bug, though, note, Coach. Are you ready for this? The 49ers, this is per at Lombardi himself, David Lombardi, the athletic reporter for the San Francisco 49ers, the same guy that compared Brock Purdy to Joe Montana, but this is still a good point. Following 2 hard-fought NFC playoff games, the Niners have 2 players on their injury list, and they are considered minor day-to-day injuries.
Yeah.
That's the dream scenario.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Luck.
Yeah.
You really have to have it on your side.
And we had it last year.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons the Jaguars did what they did down the stretch was they're playing the same people every week.
Yeah.
On their team.
And when Cam went down, Walker stepped in, and you didn't notice any loss
Really
there.
well, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've said this a number. I've said it. I know that, but everybody, when we lost Kirk, how big a deal that was. Well, going in when we made our picks last week, I said, well, you know what? If Debo plays, I'm going with San Francisco. If Debo doesn't play, I'm going with Detroit. Well, you can say that if Debo didn't play in that game, they probably don't win.
Yeah.
He had 89 yards receiving the ball and made a couple of plays. So.
And in the second half, out of the locker room, I thought they made that's the halftime adjustment, made a concerted effort to get the ball in his hands.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
So we mentioned the fails of the teams, and one did it the way they'd always done it. The other one changed dramatically. Anyway, what about the great coaching that you saw over the weekend? You can use that one as a springboard into this, because Kyle Shanahan was against the ropes. That team was down 24-7.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the one that they say that about the quarterback, but you could also say it about the play caller, or the guy that's in Shanahan's case is a head coach and the play caller.
Yeah.
They can make a difference. I mean, you have to have somebody that keeps their poise, and you also have a team to keep their poise as well. And the next guy that calls Purdy a game manager, the 2 runs he made were probably the 2 most critical plays of the entire second half.
Yeah.
And that's because he's a winner, not because he's a game manager. He did what he had to do to win the football game. So, I have to say that, they did a great coaching job in the second half. Adjustments are what the league's all about. And when you can do that, that's a good coaching staff.
I think just to add this one, Denny Thompson said yesterday that when San Francisco went to man, it just completely flipped Detroit out.
Right.
They combusted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's just, that some teams they probably went into it with the idea that it was going to be a lot of zone and not ready for it. I mean, there's a lot of things involved with that, and in this league, anything can happen. That's for sure.
So as we get ready for our final segment with you, Coach, I'll get your initial thoughts, and then we'll take our next break. Calvin Ridley, set to be a free agent, one of ESPN's top 50 free agents, the 3rd-ranked wide receiver on their list of 5 wide receivers who will be pending free agents this March. Do you tag him? Do you re-sign him? Knowing also that conditional pick is tied up. If he is signed or extended before the league year begins, then it's a 2nd-round pick going to the Falcons. If he is not signed, but then you have a, let's say, handshake agreement with him, and then you sign him after the league year begins, then it's a 3rd-round pick.
Well, I think that they would approach him with the idea, if they're going to sign him, to let us have the 2nd-round pick and not the 3rd-round pick. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a handshake involved in that, but it's worth thinking about. If there's a problem with negotiations, I think you have to look at what receivers are out there and what you can do, because the guy did have 1,000 yards. He's coming off of a year and a half of not playing football. You got to expect that the guy's going to get better and can work into that. So if I was looking at it, depending upon all these other things that I don't know, I would say you sign Josh Allen and you tag Ridley. Give him another year to show what he can do.
At that big number.
Yeah. Yeah, because it depends on who's out there.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Can you get T. Higgins? Can you get, whoever's out there?
Be a hard get.
Yeah, Evans. I mean.
Or do you hit on one of these young kids in the draft?
Well,
I
think
can't guarantee that.
I think you might do that anyway. I mean, I think, if you tag them, I would definitely take a receiver. That's one of the things that you have to go with. And then, you got Parker Washington. You got some guys that you're going to have to develop.
And that's, of course, a big word, development.
Yes, it is.
Can they develop them? We also, speaking of development, have the Senior Bowl on TV, first day of practices. So for those of you on the text line and the YouTube chat line, we are following along. We're going to start, inching our way into draft conversations. We'll get some folks that are on site at the Senior Bowl on throughout the duration of this week because obviously, as Matt Hayes just so eloquently put it to us off air, that's where your team is built. Yeah, your team is built in Mobile, Alabama. This is XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. 1010XL is your hometown team.
Everything's a challenge. Through adversity to the stars. From the last minute to the last man, we fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight.
1010XL, where sports fans get together.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thing.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 30th, 1994, in Super Bowl 28, the Cowboys beat the Bills 30-13. Emmitt Smith wins MVP, rushing for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns.
We're in Florida, and pest problems are persistent. Want them gone? Mission accomplished with Mission Pest Solutions. Veteran and locally owned and operated, Mission Pest will blow your mind with their communication and response time for all your pest, termite, and mosquito needs. Text or call 904-944-PEST. You'll speak directly with the owners. Mention 1010XL when you call 944-PEST. You'll get 25% off your initial pest or termite protection service. Mission accomplished with Mission Pest Solutions.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I know Honda, they're so cool on the road and off the road, but guess what? Tell them about them being on the water.
There is an all-new Honda boat coming out.
Went out and partnered with Scout, who's been making the finest holes in the business for years. They're fuel efficient, dynamic, and class leading.
So Honda is in the boat business, and you will see boats coming to Cycles of Jacksonville soon.
We will have them in the spring, ready to go.
CyclesofJacksonville.com. Keep track of all of it. Find them on Atlantic near Regency.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm just happy to have a roof over my head. You've heard that saying a bunch, probably through the years, but what if it leaks? That's never good. Who do you call? How can you be sure they're any good? Who to trust? Well, remember this. Preferred Roofing guarantees to educate and inform their customers on such a big decision as replacing a roof. Let their consultants help you make an informed choice that you're sure to feel good about. Master Elite Certified Contractors, Preferred Roofing is who you need to call. Tell them Joe C. sent you.
The First Coast Games is an annual corporate challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals, with some friendly competition, of course. Registration is now open through the First Coast YMCA for both recreational and challenge divisions, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 877-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
Motoring towards the Frangie Show. They will be up at the top of the hour. Campo and Joe podcast on Facebook Live. We also will have that ready to go at 3 o'clock. Hopefully you'll be able to join us and just go for 1010XL on Facebook, and you can chime in there. Coach, before we go, we threw the That Just Happened out earlier that Ben Johnson has basically said, hey, I'm staying in Detroit City. I am not going to look for the Washington job, the Seattle job. I don't know how high he was in terms of the possibility of being the number one favorite to land the job. I don't know. He may not have been, but he basically removed himself from consideration. What do you think when you hear a story like that?
Well, my first thought is that he didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my first thought is that you pull your name out so it doesn't, you know, and that was my first thought. It surprises me if he was in it, because that's very difficult to get a head coach in the National Football League.
Right.
And you don't know what's going to happen from year to year. You could go from hot to cold in a hurry. And especially when you're on a team that, well, we just saw it happen this year with the Jaguars. You know, you could go from quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And so.
And injuries are a factor, too. Like, that's what I said. If you're,
Yeah.
you know, like.
Yep. You don't know.
You can bank on your guys all you want, and you can bet on yourself, but, like, weird things will happen sometimes that are out of your control. And all of a sudden, you know, someone on the text line brought up, and this wasn't necessarily injury related, but look at Byron Leftwich, who was receiving head coaching opportunities everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whatever you want to call it here with Jacksonville and the courtship there, goes back to Tampa, and it's like, whatever, he'll go back, he'll coach Brady for another year, it'll be fine. The offense regressed, and he hasn't been heard from since.
Yeah, you can go from concrete to quicksand in a hurry.
Yeah.
And by the way, coaching Tom Brady was working out. He was coaching the GOAT, and they probably needed to take a longer look at that. So I do agree that you said if he wasn't, then pull your name out. But what about it is refreshing, as Leon put it, for a guy to stay and want to stay and be a part of what he hopes is something special.
Yeah, that was my second thought, that, they're doing something right over there. They've got the team building. I also heard that the agent was asking for $15 million. So, he might have priced himself out of it. Who knows? But I'll tell you, when I came into the league, the two hot names for head coaching jobs as assistants was Fritz Schirmer.
Yep.
And Floyd Peters, two defensive coaches in the league. And they were hot for 2 years and didn't get anything, and then they never heard from them again.
Yeah.
So to turn a job down when you have it is pretty tough. And the other thing, at 37 years old, maybe he looked at it and said, well, when you get a head coaching job, unless you're Bill Belichick, you're setting yourself up to get fired.
True.
Well, you go to Seattle, you're following a legend in Pete Carroll. That's not going to be easy.
That's another thing.
You go to Washington, you got new ownership, maybe more patience. That one has some appeal, but
But you get fired. I mean, every coach knows you're hired to be fired.
Correct.
How do you turn? I don't think he had the job. That's my whole thing.
That's my
thought.
Yeah,
you guys might be right on that.
You don't turn down one of 32 jobs.
That's it.
You just don't do that.
No question.
Because everybody gets fired.
Right.
Unless you're Nick Saban.
That's right.
Or even Belichick pretty much got fired this year, okay?
Well, yeah.
So unless you're Saban, you're getting fired.
And
I
always wonder if they make a decision based on what they just saw, whether that had anything to do with it. I have no idea. But.
Yeah. Well, his name was high up there for a long time, and some of it happens that things cool off based on the fact that all these other guys are getting hired, and your name was maybe number 4. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, number 5 and 6 gets hired somewhere. Then everybody kind of cools off.
But think about it. It's so funny that that Mia mentioned Byron Leftwich, is that right now the job that Canales did down in Tampa with Baker got him a job.
Absolutely.
Whereas Byron, they looked at it and they go, well, he was coaching Tom. Okay. Isn't it funny how it goes? Because one guy lifted a guy's career and he's getting credit for it. And then meanwhile, Slowick and Ben Johnson, the job that they've done,
I might have said this before. If I truly believe that if I didn't get the head coaching job with the Cowboys, I wouldn't have gotten one because the triplets were the guys.
Right.
That's it. They're the reason the Cowboys. But when you look back,
Troy Emmett,
the defenses were pretty darn good the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I got the job with Dallas. But I don't know that I would have gotten one because I didn't look the part. And I wasn't a self-promoter. So a lot of that comes into play as well. If you're coaching Tom Brady, everybody says, well, maybe it's Tom Brady. Yeah. And that's, I wish I had Tom Brady. I might still be coaching in a league like Belichick.
All right, good stuff. We got our takeaway coming up. Our head coach hanging out with us. The Francis Show will be up in just a bit.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
The offensive line developing into a good one, and Tony Baselli, a star. He is imposing. Coleman, Wydell, Tilsky, Searcy, who was in the Super Bowl with the Steelers last year.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Got a septic tank at your home or business? Give Duck Duck Rooter a call today to schedule your pump out service. From septic pump outs, inspections to new septic tank and drain field installations, we are Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. A little quiz for you. Let's see if you can guess what these potential side effects are from. Pancreatitis, urgent bowel movements, depression, suicidal thoughts, kidney stones, birth defects, hypoglycemia, anxiety, and insomnia. If you happen to guess weight loss injections, you'd unfortunately be right. All those risks when 80% of patients gain their weight back within a year of stopping the medications. Now, how about these side effects? Fat loss, happiness, increased mobility, confidence, restful sleep, and increased energy. Those are the effects Awaken 180 clients experience when losing their weight fast and for good, thanks to free support for life. Before opting for medications, first ask your doctor about Awaken 180 weight loss. I'm confident they'll recommend Awaken 180 as safer, faster, and a long-term solution for weight loss. If you already know medications aren't the route for you, give Awaken 180 a call at 844-346-1800 or schedule your consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. You heard me. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or, if you still have a mortgage rate in the threes, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50, $75, $100, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or loanpronto.com, 999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39 APR, subject to lender approval.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Picking here, the Borland Groover Foundation proudly presents the annual March to Get Screened 5K race and 1 mile fun run. Sunday, April 14th, the race starts at 7 a.m. under the Fuller Warren Bridge. Their mission, raise awareness about colorectal cancer and related deaths. All proceeds benefit the Borland Groover Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA-certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Ready to turn game day into payday? Head to Aces Sports Bar in Best Bet St. Augustine for the ultimate win. Catch all the NFL and college football games on our big screens and play your hand at the tables. Plus, anytime a touchdown is scored, someone wins $100 during select games with Best Bet St. Augustine's Lucky Seat Cash giveaway. Visit bestbetjacks.com for full details.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the 2-minute drill. Brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
Lauren Brooks joins us now. Francis Show getting ready to roll. How's it going?
Great, thanks. How are you?
We're doing great. We're doing great finishing up. We've been obviously talking about Championship Sunday and getting ready for what is next. What are you guys cranking out?
Yeah, we'll certainly do the same. And we have a scholar athlete coming up at 3:25, so that's always exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll continue talking a lot of what y'all have been, as far as football season coming to an end. It's always so sad. What do we do this weekend? I really don't know what we do besides college basketball.
Well, speaking of college basketball, I know I looked at Bo Valentine and said, man, I don't even have any games on ESPN Plus because the men and the women at UNF and JU are all on the road this weekend.
Yeah, their home games are tomorrow night. That's the only one this upcoming week. So yeah, it's just Joe, what do you do? You're
Well,
probably just going to cook or something, right?
Well, but no, I firmly
Golf
believe
never
that-
sleeps,
True,
Lauren.
that's true.
As much as I love football, there's just so many other good things
That's
that
true.
that sports-wise you can consume, absorb, whatever.
Yeah, are you sad about Terrell Hatton going to live?
Yeah, I like they.
Do we care anymore?
No, actually, I don't, and I feel like maybe it is a little resignation, but I don't know whether they're all going to come together at some point. It looks like it's leaning back in that direction, but who the heck knows? You just got to play on. Like, as an example, just take what Nick Dunlap did as an amateur. Terrell Hatton leaves, another potential superstar walks in. That's the game of golf. This dude, Matthew Pavon, I have no idea who he is, but he comes over from Europe and he wins against a strong field. So you never know. But Hatton, he can take his anger over there to Saudi Arabia.
I suppose so.
Yeah. All right. We'll be listening, Lauren.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Lauren, Frank, Hayes, RJ, they all have it upcoming at the top of the hour. But first.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
My takeaway is Matt Hayes could be $1,000. I was going to say $10,000. $1,000 richer by summer 2024. How, you ask? Well, if you missed it, go back and listen on demand. Quite the entertaining discussion, but also very enlightening for those of you who are curious about Florida State's current state of affairs. Are they leaving the ACC? Matt broke it all down. Fascinating stuff. And yes, a nooner did say he would pay him $1,000.
$1,000. Takeaway, Coach.
My takeaway is, I have to say, during the perfecto situation, I never heard anybody that knows as many things as you do in this business. Great job.
I unfortunately
You almost went all the way with the whole thing.
I have been. It's a curse and a blessing to have a photographic memory. Yes, it's awful.
Photographic memory. This is news. That's my takeaway. All right, Matty.
That's pretty good, right? I mean, my takeaway is it's just you almost don't have a choice. You're just going to have to sign Ridley. The question is, are you just going to tag him or are you going to sign him?
Yeah, and I'll just keep that takeaway going because Calvin Ridley, you only have so much of what you need, and if you give it up, then you really don't have anything. And this football team still needs stars, and even though he didn't quite live up to what you wanted him to, he was better than most, and you need to make sure that you keep that going in the right direction. That's for sure. All right, we are done as far as that goes with our takeaway, but let's just wrap up a couple of the other things that we had show-wise that we'll finish up. Just kind of following the heels of it, Coach. We mentioned basically all of the Championship Sunday talk, and we'll do Super Bowl probably with you on Friday, and then again a bunch more next week. But your early lean, it's a 1.5 point line, Coach. 1.5 points, and the Niners are the favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going to say the same thing right now as I said last week. I think a champion is a champion until they're not.
Yeah.
I don't think you bet against Mahomes. I just feel like the guy has got a camaraderie with the rest of that ball club that no matter what the situation, he's going to find a way to get it done. And so I'm leaning that way, although I think it's going to be an outstanding game, and I think 1.5 points is probably what it is.
But he is the classic get up on the horse and let's ride.
Yep, absolutely.
And they will follow.
Yep.
And he makes it fun. He really does.
The line has shifted, by the way. Yesterday, when Denny Thompson sat in with us during the 2 o'clock hour, it was a 1-point line, back up to 2 in favor of the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, so this morning, it's interesting. This morning was 1.5. And so it has gone to 2.
It's back up to 2. And as Matt said, Matt's takeaway yesterday, I couldn't echo it more. Patrick Mahomes.
That should be the takeaway now until the Super Bowl.
Right, I can't bet against him.
Yeah, if you're going to give him points, are you kidding? Yeah. And look, I've fallen for it. I'll be the first to raise my hand. He may zap me on this one, but I'm going in that direction. That's for sure. And they have chosen that they will wear red uniforms for the Super Bowl. All right. Speaking of that, we got prop bets coming up, probably beginning tomorrow. And we'll open up the prop shop and we'll throw out some prizes. We always have fun with it, so get ready for that, all you Nooners. That'll be coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota. They are there today, tomorrow, every single day, except Sunday, making sure that they can take care of you. Great deals. That's what you're after, and great quality when it comes to the ride. SUVs, pickup trucks, luxury sedans, economies, pre-owned and brand new. Whatever you want, make sure you check them out. BeaverToyotaSt.Augustine.com, right there in the Og, and BeaverChevrolet.com on Phillips Highway. We are out. Joe C., me O'Brien, Matty Hayes, Big Search, Coach, and JJ.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.